Yeah, it is your main man, Vapin Minuteman, just coming right here at you on the main Vape News Network. We are just bringing to you everything that we can, as much as we can, as fast as we can. But you know what? We're going to give it to you, and we're going to lay it out for you to play it out. So stick around right here after this commercial break. We'll get right into it. So good morning!
And we are live once again. Oh, I forgot to shut the door. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay, guys, sorry about that. For some reason, I forgot to shut the door. But how is everybody doing this great morning? I mean, it is crazy. I don't know why. Once again, it's not bringing up the chat. Have no idea where Anthony is. He said he'd hop in about 10 o'clock. I did send him a Instagram, so he is invited again. Just waiting on him. Okay, now we're starting to see the chat come up. But how is everybody doing this amazing morning? We may be going through a lot, but you know what? We're still here. We're still pumping it. But we have a lot to talk about. I'm trying to wait a little bit to give Anthony a little time to get in here. He just has a lot going on right now with everything going on in Ohio and all throughout the country. We all have a lot to go through. Because at 8:51, he said he'd be here right at 10. So, and I've sent the message. So, Loomis, if you have his actual number, call him. Be like, hey, where are you, Anthony? Because this is unlike him to be late like this. I know he said he had a lot to do at work, so yeah. You know, Beauty, I really didn't see any probability of any of this being reversed in the courts. Simply because, yes, it's government overreach, but they don't give a crap. I mean, let's be honest, they really don't. So, this is stuff that we have to fight actually on the front lines. I mean, this is not stuff that we're going to be able to go the easy legal route. This is stuff that we're going to have to actually fight on the front lines. Bottom line. People always think, oh, we'll just go legal. We'll just go legal. No, we got to fight it in the actual legislatures and with the actual governors. And yes, today I'm using my Batman mug. Let me pop out chat real quick, because right now I've been just doing other things, trying to get set up, and forgot to pop out the chat so that I could see it a little better. But yeah, there's a lot going on, and I've been ready to pull my hair out these last couple days. I apologize for the lateness. For one, I had my high school reunion last night, or well, part one, the first half. The second half's tonight. And I didn't get home till about 1 o'clock. I actually had last night off, but I fell asleep on my couch. So I didn't even have my alarm clock. And, you know, if anybody wants to hop in here, you're more than welcome. Just let me know and I'll send you a link. Exactly. Take it to the media. Yeah, I did hear that, Bruce. I did hear about him adding it. Okay, thank you, Loomis. He probably don't realize it's 10 o'clock. That's what I figure, is he just don't realize it's 10. But there, I pulled it up so I don't. Yeah, we do have a lot going on. I'm sure, you know, Ohio's not any different than anywhere else. I mean, given the state of everything going on in Ohio, which was part of what I wanted to talk about today, which is why I really want him on here when we get going strong, because, you know, we need to talk about Ohio. You know, there's a lot of things going on nationwide that can affect nationwide. I mean, you have Washington, which, for any of you that do the Zample Box subscription service, I'm not sure if this is going to affect them or not, but it's a high probability because they did a flavored vapor ban, or they're working on a flavored vapor ban in Washington. So, you know, he's already Governor Inslee, which is a presidential candidate, which I warned you guys about him just a couple of months ago. But you had that. You had Oregon is looking at one, which I pulled up the CASA heads up for this week. They actually had two. In Oregon, Katie Brown is considering a temporary ban on vapor retail products. So, I mean, it's crazy how stupid some of these people are putting some of these bans out. It really is. I'll never understand why they are so idiotic. And they decide to do these bans when it makes no freaking sense. Because they think they know more than the CDC. I don't know how many of you did, because it was a long watch. But I watched all 7 hours of the House committee hearings. And the one thing that really came out on the forefront, even the CDC was saying, if you are worried about the health impact, then don't vape. But if you're vaping because you quit smoking, don't go back to smoking. I mean, they're basically saying, don't stop vaping if you quit smoking, if you're not that worried about the health impact. Which, to be honest with you, I am not that worried about it, because, you know, I tell people this all the time. We've been around for 10 years. And that's just here in America. I'm sure it's been around longer in Europe. But then, on top of that, Europe has 0 issues right now. They have no issues coming to the forefront with respiratory injury. We are the only place that has experienced... Well, no, I'm sorry. Canada says they've experienced something, but I don't know how much it is. Yeah. And in all honesty, Loomis, with the CDC admitting it the way they did, that could help us in the long run. I mean, in all honesty, oh, I agree. That Canadian doctor is full of crap. I agree with that, but I'm just saying, that's what's in the thing. People are saying, yeah, it's went to Canada. I'm sorry. How do we know that's not um some of our illegal THC carts heading up there? I mean, and the one thing that I was hearing a lot during that whole hearing was, because they said flat out 70 to 80% have been THC vapors. And when you look at it, in all honesty, you can't just look at, okay, this person vaped both nicotine and THC, so you know what, we're blaming both. You have to look at what the common denominator is. And I know when I was in school, a lot of our people would not admit to an adult that they were smoking marijuana. How many of you that smoked marijuana, I didn't, but how many of you that did when you were in school would actually admit to a doctor that you smoked marijuana? Well, Michaela, there's a little bit of a discussion that we're going to have later. I want to get with Jen about this, and we're going to do something on CBD. I totally think it's safe. I really do. There's a few things that could cause issues, but very rarely, especially if you go with reputable dealers and you get their test results. That's what I'm going to tell you. Savage, I support. There's another one I got that's downstairs that I'm going to be reviewing here soon as I can get something that's a mouth to lung other than my pod that I use my Savage in, which right here is Savage. I vape Savage CBD. And that's the other thing. So I vape CBD. And I've never had issues. I've vaped CBD for 3 or 4 years. Just off and on. Not regular. So I don't see any issues with it. And really, there's been no issues with anybody I know vaping CBD. Let's be honest, guys. CBD has been on the market for years. So I don't see where there's going to be any issues with that. I agree, Beauty. They are two different battles, but the thing is, we use the same hardware, so they're getting tied in with us no matter what. So, I mean... And that's why I'm going to start doing a lot more CBD on this channel. I mean, because... And let me go ahead and go through real quick and say hi to some people that I haven't said hi to, because I've been going crazy. Duke Nukem, good morning. Same with Beauty. Jay and Jen. I didn't even see you comment earlier, but yep, there you are. We got Loomis, Michaela, Jim, Jay, I've already said. Bruce, of course, is in here. I haven't seen Jerry chat yet, but I know he was supposed to be coming. Stephen Taylor, good to see you today. Okay, that looks like everybody. I'm caught up now. Oh, I agree they shouldn't be regulated the same. One's technically a tobacco product, one's not. But, I mean, if hardware gets banned for vape, it's going to be next to impossible to get it for CBD. That's the problem. That's the problem I see. If hardware gets banned for vape, and now this is the bad part, because of the THC cartridges being involved, a lot of states are doing across the board vape bans. I mean, like Governor Inslee is asking for the flavor. This is the first time I've seen this from a state, and good to have you, Anthony, finally.
Sorry, guys. Really sorry.
Oh, I forgot to switch that. Hold on. When you said that, I was like, oops, I turned it off the wrong. I had you on my main speakers instead of in my headphones. So everybody heard you when you said that through my speakers. What is going on in Ohio? I know there was a lot last week, but you know a lot more that's going on. So go ahead and talk about that real quick.
His legal staff to find out if he has the legal rights to make this ban, and he is in favor of a flavor ban. So as soon as he has the authority or feels like he does, we think that he's definitely going to go for that. There is a rally at the State House on October the 1st. I will definitely be there for that. It's at 11 o'clock in the morning on October the 1st. There's quite a few of us going to be going. We'll all be wearing our I Vape, I Vote shirts, and all that good stuff. Just try to do something. I mean, you just have to kind of do what you can in these situations. But as bad as it is the rest of the country, I think all these governors are perking up and going, wow, can I actually do this too? And then you're just starting to see the dominoes fall. So every morning I wake up in a cold sweat and grab my phone and go, Ohio favor ban, and just see if it's come up in the middle of the night. But that's the life I'm living right now. And, every day is scary. You start looking at states like Massachusetts. You start looking at states like, especially Massachusetts. That's the worst one because, I have friends in the industry that actually are from there. We buy product from a distributor out of there called the Milford Vape Company. It's out of Milford, Massachusetts. I got a message from her the other day. It says, yep, just lost my base salary. That's powerful stuff. And then, to be honest with you, the thing that pushed me the most, I know I'm rambling a little bit, but this is kind of mood I'm in. Watching Grimm yesterday talk about having to close Namber Juice, and it was a very short, quick video. You could tell he was just on the verge of just breaking down because he's really been fighting for this stuff, and to see that happen to his own line is really bad. The worst thing about that video, though, was that there was an ad that played before it. So it was actually a video that he probably will get paid for, which to me is just like adding insult to injury in this situation.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so nothing is effective in Ohio yet, but I can tell you, I don't expect it to be long. We are preparing for that. If we go to a 14-day sell-off period, we have plans in place to try and do that. But I don't know what to tell you guys. I wish I had some. This is honestly why I haven't done a show in a while. It's because I don't know what to say. I feel like my show is always dedicated about preparation. Like I'm always the preparing guy, and now that it's here, I'm like, well, if you weren't prepared, I tried for 2 years to inform you guys about what was going on, and now it's like I don't know what to do. I don't know what to tell you to do more than everybody else is telling you to do, which is just keep banging those phones. Like I know you guys want to sign petitions and emails because you feel like you're doing something. You got somebody on the phone. They can't get away from that. They can't delete that, or they can't throw that away. And to me, that's really the only thing that I'm pushing right now are phone calls. Get away from that. They can't delete that, or they can't.
And Jen, just so you know, I can hear him fine on my end. I just pulled up. I was gonna say I just pulled up the actual show over on YouTube, and it came over on my end. So.
Yeah, Beauty. CT is thriving because one of the shops that I know of, they have one on the border. It's just over Massachusetts border, and then one just over the border to Connecticut. And that day after, when many people who still don't know what's going on were like, I went to my local vape shop and they were closed, and it said you guys were the closest ones to me. and they got to kind of tell them what was going on. But I'm pretty sure Connecticut's going to fall here really, really soon. I do believe that that's definitely going to happen. I mean, the governor of New York's been up there, hanging out with that governor. So I'm assuming that that's probably going to happen too.
And for those of you that are in Michigan, the bill to block the governor up there does now have a number to it that is HB 4996. So if you live in Michigan, I'm going to, here in a second, I don't know if I posted this, but I'm going to post the 926 heads up from Casat. That's one of the sources for tonight. Anthony, I need to apologize with my reunion last night and everything else because I was off. So my whole schedule is screwed up.
Yeah, believe me, I understand about having screwed up schedules. I was just down in the vape store checking customers out 15 minutes ago. So, which is something I haven't had to do in a while. So it's definitely one of those crazy kind of times.
But I mean, there's a lot more coming up. I mean, Connecticut is showing an issue, and they're just hoping it doesn't go as far as the Massachusetts style, which, like you had said earlier, I have people that I know that live out in Massachusetts, and you were literally just seeing shops close overnight.
Well, they sent police into shops to actually close them. State police were sent into shops. And guys, I want you to understand that this is the first domino to fall. Somebody's going to look at these videos like later on when something else is going and be like, wow, we ever seen anything like that? And we're going to be like, yeah, we did. When this wasn't really killing anybody and you guys just thought this was an inconvenience that you wanted to ban, and you set a precedent for doing other things. Steve J was saying, welcome to Tennessee. Honestly, dude, if I end up moving, it's probably going to be to England.
No, move here. We're not doing anything.
No, because it doesn't. Tomorrow you could, though.
True.
And that's the thing. This honestly, and man, I'm going to say a Minuteman thing. You guys are going to hate me, but this is the first domino towards our North Korean society that some of these people want to live in, and it's scaring me like I can't even tell you.
Oh, because I can understand.
Next that they just don't like, that they're just going to try and eliminate. And those of you out there that are drinkers, I'm telling you, they're coming after your flavored liquors next. They are. They're going to let you keep regular liquor. Like anything that was available when the 21st Amendment was signed, you can keep. Anything after that, you're going to have to go through this process because, the adults can't possibly like this.
Now, I will tell you, some shops in New York made a very slick move that I don't know how they're going to legally be held liable for it if it happens.
Yeah.
But there are shops up there that have sold a 90-day supply on a payment plan.
Financing vape liquid.
Yeah.
Did you get to see the Fox thing?
No, I didn't.
Oh my God, it's the best thing I've seen on TV for us anyway, ever. Those guys actually sat there and had a real discussion, and one of the guys that was on there actually quit smoking with vaping, and there were probably 5 people on the panel, and only one of the guys was anti-vaping. All the rest of the guys
was it the 5?
I don't even know what the name of the show. I got the Wendy Vapes. Thank God for her. She sent me the link, or I found it from her Instagram. And
it was
and
probably
then I
Gilbert Gottfried. 9 times out of 10, because I know he is on the
younger guy, like lighter hair. Yeah, it was a group of, I would say 5 would make sense. I think that's how many there
were. Bruce and Jerry are like, they're starting to stockpile, and Jerry was like, I'm not starting, Bruce, I am.
Well, yeah, and I wouldn't tell everybody this, and the viewers that on the here will see this, but yeah, I did the same thing. I bought how many bottles? Let's see. I think I bought about 35 bottles of 100 mils the other day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because I can't really order anything right now because I just don't know what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in this real kind of place. And if you go into your local vape shops, I want you guys to support them. And it doesn't have to be a vapor. It's going to be anywhere. Support your local vape shops. If they run out of your favorite flavor, let them tell you about something else that's close. so that you don't like just run out. Don't go directly online to do that. These people have been your friends and been behind you for years, and they're going through a tough time right now, and they could really use your support, especially those shops in Michigan who are trying to get through the rest of their inventory just so they don't have a huge loss on their hands when they are forced to stop selling flavors if that happens. I'm even going to run a special for Michigan people next month. If you come in with a Michigan ID, I'm going to give you 20% off of anything you want to buy in the stores, because what they're doing is wrong. What Adolf Whitmer is doing is wrong. Okay, it is 100% wrong, and I just will not abide by it. And I've said this several times in several chats that I see some handcuffs in my near future. Like, it's going to happen. Like, I am not going to stop this because it's unjust. And that's really the worst part about this. I don't care about what laws are in place because they're all made by men.
Yeah.
I care about justice, and I care about freedom.
See, this is where me and my state org really separate. I don't like being on the defensive. I like taking the offensive. And just recently, I was contacting my state org because I'm like, look, I'm willing to organize this. We need to get a consumer and retailer meeting with our governor and a few other people. Mind you, I do this in the background no matter what. That's why I said I'd organize it.
Sure.
Because I do it by myself, but, I can't control everybody else. I can't do it by myself. I have to get other people involved. I do phone calls with the governor all the time. And the thing is, they're like, no, our lobbyist says they want us to just hang back, not give him any ideas. And I'm like, what? We need to be on the forefront talking to him as an industry.
Yeah.
And telling him this will not fly. He is up for re-election next year.
I think this is putting a big kink into a lot of elections.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see some people eliminate their party line and vote their conscience in this situation.
Yeah.
And I've said this before too, and I hate saying it this way, but if there was a presidential candidate that would come out and strongly be for vaping, they'd have a pretty good chance right now. I think you'd see a lot of people go that direction. They have to other platforms, of course, but I mean, to see somebody stand up and say, I'm educated about this. This is not what's killing people, and I believe that people should have a right to switch to something that is a harm reduction product. I got to be honest. I think I would listen to something else unless they were like, well, but we want to kill all the babies or something stupid. I don't want that extreme situation. I've heard all the ban the kids and all this other stuff, but
And see, I've also, this is what people don't understand because, I complain all the time online about some of our national orgs, and they're like, well, you need to support them. They are fighting for you. I'm like, I don't want them fighting for me. I want to fight for me.
It's a good point.
And the whole thing is, I do a lot behind the scenes. I'm not like some of these people that go out there, take pictures every time they're talking to somebody. Yes, it looks good that you're out there talking to people, but I don't go out there and just publicize it because this is the only place I talk about it. Just simply because you don't need to do that. You need to just be doing your freaking job. And some of the people, like I've been talking with two. The third one I've talked to once, but the second I heard some words coming out of that idiot's mouth, I contacted friends in his district and they are setting up a meeting with him immediately. But I got two districts that I can take care of, because I'm like right near the border of the first district, and I live in the second, so I take care of both districts a lot of times. And the first district, our congresswoman down there, oh my goodness, I love that woman. Her name is Carol Miller. She just got elected 2 years ago. And literally, I don't know, have you had a chance to sit down and watch the committee hearings from this past week?
I've seen bits and pieces, but I haven't gotten to watch anything fully through, except for the LA one.
Representative Miller, well, the one I'm talking about is the House committee meetings, the U.S. House committee.
No.
They did more meetings on the e-cigs and things like that. They did meetings over specifically the health issues. And
is that the one where only the CDC guy was scheduled to speak?
The CDC woman and Ned Sharpless was one. Then they also had a tobacco harm reduction advocate.
Did Ned Sharpless actually speak?
Yeah.
I've been calling him Ned Heartless lately. I'm sorry. It's a little slip up there. As you guys can see behind me, normally you can just see the Green Hulk, but the Red Hulk is really starting to come out.
But yeah, literally, Carol Miller, she has been a champion for our cause in these hearings when they do it in the health subcommittee for oversight. She has been a champion for us.
Now, is she fighting for vape or is she fighting for nicotine?
She is fighting for vape.
Okay.
Yeah, she has been a real champion for us. And, you know, I even right after sent a tweet out to her thanking her.
Republican, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Of course.
And that's why I tell people, I mean, if you watch these committee hearings, you see the partisan split. You really do in these committee hearings. If you watch everything I watch, you can see the split. There is a huge partisan split. You've got
I believe that.
You've got all the Democrats coming out saying it's next to Hitler, almost. And then you've got all the Republicans coming out that actually look at the freaking science. I mean, perfect example is the harm reduction advocate brought up the Royal College of Physicians, which, I'm sorry, I support history as well as science. England came out saying that cancer was caused by cigarettes in 1954. Do you know when America did?
60s, I believe.
1964. 10 years after England.
Yeah. But why was that the case?
They called the Royal College of Physicians a farce study. That it was not a real study. And I'm like, what? You guys have always been behind the 8 ball. How can you call somebody who has done a lot more for tobacco harm reduction? And when I'm saying that, I'm talking letting people know, look, these things are causing cancer. Why are you supporting this? Yeah. You know, they've done a lot more than our U.S. Congress ever has and than our U.S. Senate has ever done. Now, yes, you know, when it comes to the actual regulations up there, I agree, you know, it would be nice to move a lot of our regulations too close to England. I would be happy with that. Because...
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, if it saves the industry, so be it. Because we don't need... I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me. I know Stevie J will disagree. I know a lot of people will. We don't need 50 milligram salt nick.
No. Is that the end of that statement? Yes, I agree.
We don't need 50 milligram salt nick. We don't need a lot of things. And
I'd be on board even with a limit on I guess what you would consider recreational vape, and then prescription being above that if you're trying to get off. One of the toughest things to get off of is chew, because it provides you with so much nicotine. And I've had people come in the store that were longtime chewing truck drivers that switched to vaping and were sub-ohming like 35 and 50 salt nic. I'm not joking. I've had people that's like, I just can't find anything that satisfies me. Salt nic came on the scene, like, oh my God, finally I have something. And they were coming in. It's like, well, what are you using this in? Oh, I'm using it in my Baby Beast. I'm like,
Well,
what?
Baby Beast can be considered a mouth-to-lung device.
What?
Yes.
How can a 0.15 be considered a mouth to lung?
Because if you turn that airflow down.
Well, okay, I get that, but that's not how they were using it.
Oh, but I'm saying it can be considered a mouth-to-lung tank.
Gotcha.
All you gotta do is turn that airflow down, because I do it all. You know, I mouth to lung in my I used to. I gave my Baby Beast to a close friend of mine, but.
So there are two things I want to touch on that you talked about. Okay. Number one, when America the United States finally decided that tobacco was maybe something that needed to be looked at, they started the Center for Tobacco Studies, which is run by Big Tobacco. So obviously you're not going to get unbiased information coming out of that. They told you for years that still there was nothing addictive and there was nothing wrong and blah, blah, blah. So, you know, even after the Royal College of Physicians, 10 years after that, they still dealt with that. Okay, that's one thing. Number two, let's talk a little bit about Democrats. And I am not Democrat, Republican, either way. Okay, I'm an issue voter. I don't really care about party lines. But Democrats seem to always be about saving the planet. You know, let's go to recycled products. Let's eliminate straws because they're causing a ton of problems. Let's eliminate this, let's eliminate that. So what I'm starting to see from Democrats is that their slogan is save the planet, kill the people. Because that seems to be where this situation kind of lies. There's also another issue that I'm not going to jump into today that has to do with, you know, not allowing humans to become humans. You know, there are other things that they're on board with, but yet most of those people are also on board with like PETA and not harming animals. And it's like, how can you have that consciousness? How does that work in somebody's mind? And when we're talking about straw waste, just because I've said this before and I'll throw it out there again, straw waste is less than 1% of the waste that's in oceans. Cigarette butts are by far the most contaminant in the world's oceans, and it costs millions of dollars every year just to clean it up off the beaches. So if you think that cigarettes are just killing people because they're smoking them, it's also putting a huge problem in our environment as well. Why would they not want to jump on board and tax the hell out of cigarettes and give somebody an alternative to something that's, one, less wasteful, and number two, up to 95 or more % healthier than smoking? And yes, and I love what Grimm said the other day. He said, having ex-smokers use tobacco-flavored vape is like making alcoholics drink beer-flavored water.
Yeah.
Okay? That's not what we want. That's what we got away from. You know, and you're right. If people start using tobacco vape, that might get people to switch to cigarettes because the flavors are similar. But when you're vaping, you know, blue bling like I am today, which is a blueberry ring pop flavor, the last thing I want is a nasty burnt ash taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm an adult. I'm 46 years old, and I have vape flavors.
And Loomis, I'm gonna kind of touch on what you were just talking about, because he was like, may as well drip Nick salts at the point when you're doing mouth to lung on a Baby Beast. The thing is, like for me, when I use a pod and I'm mouth to lunging, I'll use a 9 to a 12 Nick because I am currently on a 6 Nick.
Right.
Some people can't handle, you know. That's why it's so important, because some people can't handle the deep clouds. Some people just want that mouth to lung.
Yeah.
And if you're doing even the lower coils, but you're doing it at a lower airflow, you're getting less of that vapor into your system, and you can...
Did you read that?
Uh-huh.
I love you, Mark. And Roach, you don't want me to be president. Trust me. Trust me, you don't want me to be president.
I mean, this is a 6. This is a 6. Everything I get is 6. I mean, you can ask Anthony because he sent me.
Yep.
6s and 12s. 12 is mouth to lung. 6 is sub.
Which is fine. So I guess the thing in Michigan is the last thing I read said that they were trying to get through a 2% or less nicotine. That was going to be one of the compromises they were talking about, which I'm guessing
which is 20 milligram.
Yeah. Which
is what England does. England has it at 20%.
I guess the problem is milligram. I'm just tired of compromising. Like, just come up with something that you want us to compromise on and then tell us you're going to leave us alone. Then I might consider that. But it's like, oh, they compromised on this, and they compromised on this, and they compromised. It's like we're to the point where we can't compromise anymore.
But yeah,
We've
like
changed
Jerry,
our labels.
he's at 6 and 24.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a mouth to lung guy, so I don't even know what my mouth to lung would be.
But I mean, that's the thing.
Big lungs, big guy.
When you're vaping, that's why it's such a personal experience, because the more you vape, the more you have to look at the other methods and go that way. But just to get back to some of the calls to action, Rhode Island is expected to announce an emergency order as well.
Oh, it's done.
Oh, is
that happened yesterday? That happened yesterday.
Okay, because this was on the 26th. So, that would make sense.
Yeah, Jay Hayes did a show about that yesterday I watched, but yeah, that's a done deal.
Oh. See, I didn't get to watch any of that because of my reunion, so.
Gotcha. Yeah. That's one thing. I mean, I like Jay Hayes. I really do. And I don't want to take anything away from what he does because I really do like him. But you can tell he's overflowing with emotion. Like, he's just gotten to the point where it's just like, I think that's a lot of reviewers. They're just to the point where, like, what do we do next? Like, what thing do I focus on? And this is what I found very, very interesting. I brought this up in the chat the other day. If you notice, all these hearings and things are happening in different states all at pretty much the same time. Even if you're in the same state and you have two, they're happening so close together. So what happens when you divide forces?
Yeah.
You know, it's almost like it's a calculated move to do all of this about the same time, because you can't possibly get enough people to one event from other states if something's happening in everybody's state. You know, you're going to have 2 or 3 people, 100 people show up.
Exactly.
And that was the worst part about the LA thing. They had 200 people up there who aggressively and, you know, very professionally talked about how vaping would help them, and it still passed unanimously.
Well,
there wasn't one person that was willing to stand up and say, you know what, you've convinced me. I can see that this is an overreach, and I'm going to vote against this. Not one.
Well, I'm going to touch on something that Fawn just mentioned, because Fawn said, I want them to ban sub-ohms and flavors and pods. Keep tanks for mouth to lung. Here's the thing. When it comes to sub-ohm tanks, RDAs, RTAs, things like that, sometimes that is the only thing that can keep people off cigarettes, because we've had a tendency in our vape shops, I'm not sure how yours is, but you know, we've had a tendency to really ignore the smoker. You talked about that you guys use a lot of pods, so you guys don't ignore the smoker as much as a lot of companies. But there is a lot of people that, when they actually come to do the actual vaping, that actual deep sub-ohm is the only way that they are able to totally switch. I started with a Nautilus Mini,
which we still sell.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's a great tank.
It was not able to totally get me off. I was not able to totally get off until I got in and this is going to age me in vaping, the Atlantis V1, which was the very first sub-ohm tank generation.
Wow. Hey, Luminous or Roach, if you're still watching, would you text Michael and tell him I'm in the middle of a show? That's our owner.
And,
pretty please.
You know, Bruce Jerry, I agree if this was a few years ago. I was still willing to compromise a few years ago, but now it's make or break time. We have to do something. If we do not compromise even a little bit, we're going to lose the industry.
Yeah, but haven't we compromised already?
Not
What
really.
have they compromised?
We haven't compromised to the point that we need to, though.
Okay, fine.
Because,
but like I said, come up with I'll compromise if they'll compromise.
Because here's the thing, and they have compromised a little bit. They have. I know it's a very odd thing to hear, but they have compromised a little bit.
Yeah, they compromised and moved the PMTA process out to 2022 and then said, just kidding.
Well, they never had to. That was the thing. They never had to move that.
They had to because they didn't have the resources to do it.
Here's the thing. They could have technically taken everything off the market in 2016 that hadn't been here. So, I mean, there has been compromise. And we basically, for lack of a better way to say it, said, fuck you, we're doing what we want. I mean, that's basically how this industry reacted to them saying, hey, we're going to give you guys a little extra time. They just said, and flipped them the bird and said, we're going to do how we feel we need to do. We're not going to compromise a bit. And, you know, I had brought up compromise with a few of our advocates. And this is why I don't support a lot of our advocacy organizations. Because a few of the advocates basically said, I ain't compromising one single thing. I was like, and you're going to lose. And what's happening? You're not, there is always a give and take in politics. You have to understand that. And I don't agree that mouth to lung is healthier overall because you have to go higher nicotine. I would much rather have a lower nicotine than I would have a higher nicotine.
Also, mouth to lung is worse on your teeth.
Oh, is it really?
Because you have to suck harder.
But, I mean, that's the whole thing. You know, there's
and here's the thing. I mean, I understand you're saying compromise, and I get that. I don't mind that. I will compromise. But the compromise needs to come to an end. And I think that when people hear the word compromise, they think, at least me personally, I think MSA.
Yeah.
Okay. This is how big tobacco compromised. They said, listen, we want you guys to compromise with us. We don't want to continually just to be sued all the time and have our name being drugged through the mud constantly through the media. So can't we just give you a bunch of money and you can kind of just, you know, make all that stuff kind of go away?
Adrian didn't know about it being worse on your teeth, and they're like, let me throw away my caliber and just bought another one at Vapors.
Don't take my word for that. Like I always tell everybody, these are my opinions. Do not take my word for this, but do a little bit of research. And I have been told by a dentist before that it's that sucking motion that actually causes some problems. So the less you have to actually draw, the better it actually is for your dental health. Now, I'm not going to tell people to stop mouth to lung, but I'm just saying that if you're saying eliminate sub-ohm because it's better, I have, you know, something to say about that. And I'm one of those people that if it all went to mouth to lung, I couldn't be satisfied. I'm an ex-cigar smoker, okay? And I inhaled my cigars. So I can't deal with that little bit of, like, pod systems to me are just a waste of time. And not to make a light of this, but it's like a child's toy. It's just not enough for me to get satisfied in vape. honestly, I'd rather they just eliminate all the mouth to lung stuff. Let's go back to sub-ohm tanks and drippers.
No, we can't. We cannot get rid of mouth to lung, and here's the reason being.
I'm not saying we should.
A lot of your smokers cannot handle starting off sub-ohm tanks. They need that mouth to lung action. That's why.
You said just turn the airflow down.
But it's still mouth to lung. The Baby Beast was made originally to be that perfect bridge between mouth to lung and sub-ohm. That is why the Baby Beast came around. If you remember, that was put on a lot of their starter kits, and it's still being put on a lot of smoke starter kits. Yeah. Because it is that perfect bridge between sub-ohm lung hits and mouth to lung. It was that perfect bridge, and that's the reason I liked it.
I've been on board for the longest time of pulling this stuff out of convenience stores for the reasons that we've talked about in the past. Somebody brought something up to me the other day that kind of made me rethink that situation. And it's because most smokers are used to going to convenience stores to get cigarettes. And when they've got that right next to the cigarettes, it might make them question to think, okay, maybe I should at least consider this or try it to see. That was tough for me because I'm like, that's my biggest goal. I mean, as those of you that know me, stop smoking or you're going to die is my thing. And to not allow a smoker to have access to that in a way that they might actually make a switch, that's a tough one for me. For the longest time, I'm like, pull it out of convenience stores, just give it to the vape shops and let them do it. But will a smoker actually come into a vape shop as often as they would just picking up a Juul or a Blue or something like that from a convenience store? It's worth discussing.
See, Bruce, you've rubbed off on me a little bit. I do say that, we need mouth to lung still. I'm just saying, when I went against a lot of our mouth to lung devices, it's because they went straight to pods. That's the only thing that they want to put mouth to lung out as. If they want to do a mouth to lung, they do a pod, which is highly concealable, which is part of the blasted issue when they get into the schools, is because they're highly concealable. If the Atlantis came back out, which it's still out, or the Nautilus, it is a perfectly fine mouth to lung device. I mean,
hey, Beauty, I don't recognize you not in your pajamas.
Well, I've gotten like zero sleep, like I'm sure all of us have not. So these are technically my pajamas. They're jeans and a shirt because this is what I fell asleep in.
I saw you in a book that said, "Where's Beauty?" That's what your shirt looks like today. Little Where's Waldo, actually.
Here she is awake in the same clothes she fell asleep in because this is what I've been doing.
Grim even mentioned that on his vlog the other day. He's like, you know what I did for the first time 2 weeks ago? Or in 2 weeks is shower. He hadn't showered for like a week
and look who we have here again, finally.
Jen, oh my God.
I was laughing at you guys when I walked into the I need to suck harder conversation. I am in the right place. I am absolutely in the right place. I just want to make a point on the compromise, okay? Like, everyone thinks we've compromised. Like, I don't think we've compromised at all. And I don't mean we as in the vapors, like the individual outside vapors, okay? I'm using we as a collective. But the manufacturers have not compromised. The co-packers have not compromised. The distros have not compromised.
What about labels and bottles and all? That's not a compromise?
Because a lot of the stuff that they came out with still got rejected or was not, like, we've known for so long. Okay, remember the discussion about going to black and white labels and just having the name on them, and everybody was in a row. That was the problem of the month. Now look where we are.
Real quick, Jen, just so you know, we can't hear you, so.
I haven't said anything.
Oh, okay.
We'll hear Jen when she's ready to talk.
Well, I've been listening intently because some of it I agree with and some of it I don't. I think what Beauty is getting at is very, very true. If they followed some of, see, Oregon has some of the strictest laws on our labels. And if you see some of the stuff that I saw yesterday, especially, is that they want labels with no fruits, no candies on it, no pictures of cartoons, don't add eyeballs to it. You know what? Any liquid at this point that's been out there and it has just the name on it, we know what the hell it tastes like. And really, a bottle of e-liquid should stand on its own, not based on what's on the cover.
Exactly.
But we've known this forever.
Absolutely. And why the fuck didn't they do it in the beginning?
And has said no. If we put black and white bottles, it's not going to sell. So what we've done has been our own worst enemy because the shops
Absolutely.
and the distributors have gone, oh no, it's not going to bring us the coin. Okay.
And you know what? The people in this room, I don't know about Anthony, but have all said the same damn thing. We have been preaching this for years. What about MVE? Oh, we're not going to have the Fanta and the stuff like that. And what do? Cave to the money.
Right.
I
I
mean,
walked out.
let's be blunt here. Who was the first one
Okay,
to
we all
come out
know.
on this side?
God,
Me. 2015.
you want an award for? I'm gonna get you a trophy that says that, so you can put it
You
in
know
your
what,
blog.
though? You know what, Vapin Minuteman? You may have made the blacklist.
No, I didn't make. See, this is the thing.
Okay, stop with that. But you know what? We got to stop pointing fingers on who did what.
Right.
Oh,
Because.
oh, I agree.
You know wait. Because, Robert, because I'm under NDAs, you know the shit I'm doing in the background.
Oh, yeah.
That nobody in this room or chat knows.
No one person did anything.
Oh, no.
And it goes beyond just talking in this room and doing a blacklist.
I
I'm
agree.
dealing with national shit.
Oh, yeah.
Affecting change. And that I can't talk about plus international because I'm working with VAP. Anyway.
But what I was getting at was, you know, when it came to just looking at labels themselves, I took that idea, and this is what had frustrated me over the years until that blacklist got started, okay?
All of us
From
are
2015 all the way until that, I had been contacting Matt. I had been contacting
you
Grim.
The only one. I've been doing it
we
since
need
2013.
to get
And
behind
I was
this.
sitting there.
I understand your guys' point.
I was sitting there watching Coca-Cola bottles
Yeah.
coming out, going,
Yes, name another product that is exclusively for adults that has to follow that program. Because that behind Robert right now looks like an advertisement for Budweiser.
Yeah, it is.
What?
But no, you know
So
what,
name
though?
another product that's what all vaping did was follow what everybody else did for advertising and packaging.
No, we took it further. Look at, what was
I
that
don't
one
agree.
that had the garbage pail kids shit. What was that
That's
called?
done with. I'm saying the labels that are currently on the market now. Yes, there were some mistakes that were made in the past, but that we can't hold that to today.
No, but
that's not why they're banning flavors
agree.
today.
And I know, but that was the
Catalyst.
that was the catalyst. And actually the one that pushed it way over was Juul. I'm sorry.
It's hard to argue with that. Yes, they made mistakes.
You know what, guys? You can sit here and I have been preaching it for a year and a half. Juul with their 50 milligrams and no step down program available. It was easy to use. People walked in and got it. They got what they wanted and walked out. That was the one that drew all the attention. And since then, there's been nothing but problems. And if anybody can say differently, you're wrong.
But Juul did not bring out any new products after the deeming rule. Okay. And
they had it in the works.
Right, but they couldn't bring it out. And I think that's their claim is that, we got as much as we could ready to go before that happened. So having a step-down process, I think, is an important thing. But they're basically saying we're obeying the law and not bringing out any new products after the fact.
Yeah, with 50 milligram Nick salts that were
Right.
really Nick salts are new.
But
We have to all sit here and say they're
if
new.
you started a company in your dorm room and then 4 years later it was worth $30
True.
billion.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
going
Okay, that's
to
great.
make
They're
mistakes.
1/3. Okay, I don't give a crap if the freaking emperor of the goddamn dark side is watching because I'm sick of his crap. Okay, and I lost my train of thought. I've been very
Senator
sick of it.
Palpatine's watching.
Oh, the motherfucker's watching. Anyway,
we all know who
Well-
she's talking about.
So much for our family friendly.
well, I'm sorry, guys.
No, I love it. I do. I really do.
We're beyond that now.
You know, with a week and a half of this garbage, where I wake up in the it's hard for 2 days, but when I'm getting, like today, I looked at my Facebook, I have 198 new people wanting to friend me on Facebook. You know, I had the president retweeted one of my tweets. It's lost. I was gonna frame the damn thing and I can't find it. You know, that's how much I'm tweeting and being retweeted now.
Yeah.
This whole stuff, if you look at the timeline of what's going on, when Juul really started hitting the market and things started going downhill from there, it really did. And Altera bought 1/3 and they bought it. They own it. Okay. No, anybody that says they didn't is wrong.
Well,
Number
what
two-
recently happened, it seems like they're owning a lot more than that.
Oh, they are, because the CEO of Juul stepped down. Now Altera is the new CEO.
Correct.
Then when they left, because the VTA gave them a freaking board seat, gave Juul a board seat. They bought it. This is what irritates me about VTA. Okay, if we're all going to gram together, VTA needs to come clean about their crap. The VTA bought and paid for and got in bed with Big Tobacco. And Altera, before they got that board seat, said, we're taking down the vape industry. They said it publicly. They get on the VTA, they're there for a little bit, put their money. The VTA had them making the deals with the FDA and Congress and up there lobbying for us. That was what was going on. They weren't lobbying for this, for our open systems. They were lobbying for their pod systems. Then Nick Salt's taken off. Everybody was making Nick Salt's post August 8th.
It was all a cash cow.
Absolutely.
Well, except Juul.
Then what happens? Then what happens? And then what happens? They leave the VTA. Right before that, what gets approved? The RJ Reynolds IQOS system.
Right.
Yep.
Banned through the FDA. Not banned, but goes right through the FDA. Juul leaves the VTA. Then they want to merge back together. The shit hits the fan, and all these things, and people are starting to get sick. And what are they getting sick from? Pods mostly used from Juuls.
Well, and
I think it's THC.
mostly THC.
They're pods, but they're THC replacements. Some do have, now I think the ones that they're saying that they're finding nicotine in, it's because they're replacing them. They're not cleaning them. You can't clean those things. So they're finding traces of THC, CBD, nicotine in them. So I think what's happening.
Now, one quick thing I want to ask. One quick thing I want to ask just before we get completely off this label thing is, if the labels were black and white, do you think the kids would not have used them?
No.
I don't necessarily think the kids know, because I don't think the flavor.
Kids are kids.
So what's the point of changing the labels?
Because it was the start of what they asked us to do. Period.
They did.
So it was the start of us saying, okay, we want to work with you. Okay? Every time you think of yourself as a parent. I don't know whose parent.
Yeah.
Okay? Think of yourself as a parent. So when you ask your child to do something, and even say maybe they do it halfway, they may not do it the way you want it, but they at least kind of do it or whatever, or they do it, then you're more receptive to them. When they just out and out say no, are you going to listen to them anymore? Are you you automatically shut down and go, they have no respect for me, they don't care what I think, they don't care about my rules, they don't care about what's going on, they don't want to work with me, they don't want to be a team player, and so that's it.
And I agree with Bruce. We have to come from with solutions. Now, this channel, for I know as long as I've been here and before, here are the start of solutions that I think we have to compromise. This is now politics. We've been saying it's been political all along. Nobody believed us, but it's a political game. Okay, here are what we can do, and here are some solutions. I get it. We can't point fingers. The vaping industry is to blame just as much as everybody else. We said, fuck you to the FDA and the government. We did.
Because it's not killing anybody.
I know, but still, when they asked us not to, we said, screw you.
Yes, because it's not killing anybody.
You're right.
I'd rather this get out to everyone. I'd rather it get out to every person. I don't care if 13-year-olds get a hold of it if it's saving this many lives. That's why I'm sorry I'm being so opposed to all of this stuff. But I don't care. I really don't care. Lawmakers are not willing to do what it takes to get rid of cigarettes. Then I really don't care what they put on.
I agree with you 100%. But you know what, Anthony? Because of the ruling in their MSA agreement, and this is what people don't get. Yeah, it's all about the money in the master settlement agreement. And these states that are passing the bans have the biggest bonds that are coming due that they can't pay. They got to get people back to smoking and get that money back up.
No, they just have to find another revenue stream. It doesn't have to be smoking.
Right, but what we're saying is that's their thoughts. The quick and easy way is to just get smoking rates up.
It's not going to be fast enough. The quick, easy way is to legalize rec, which I don't want to get into a whole discussion about that. That's the quick and easy way to pay these bonds off. And I will. If somebody argues with me about that fact, you're retarded.
Is what, to legalize rec?
Yes, legalize rec is the quickest way to get tax income.
Oh yeah,
True.
Quickest.
I agree.
Because New York's bonds are due in December. There's not enough people to start smoking or to make that switch over to that to save those bonds. If this was the reason, they should have done this like a year ago.
The problem is, though, you're right. I agree because here in Oregon, rec's legal, so the state gets their money, the county gets their money, and then the cities can get.
And how much better are your schools and things of that money was dedicated to? I mean, if I had a child that was of school age, I'd move to Colorado. They have like the best schools right now.
No, the money is squandered. The money's squandered, just like the master settlement agreement is all squandered.
Yeah,
the money is squandered.
So why do we trust the people that are squandering this money to know what we need to do? Why would I compromise with somebody like that?
Well, the compromise more has to come on the federal level. That's where the compromise has to happen.
Because those people aren't squandering money?
Not saying they're not, but the thing is they are going to want the money no matter what.
And I know you can't ban cigarettes, but you can tax them out of existence.
They've already tried. I mean, look at some of the states.
No, they haven't. You put a $50 a pack tax on shit, people will. Everybody will switch to vaping.
And with the master settlement agreement, they cannot, in any way, shape, and form, ban cigarettes. That was what they wrote in an agreement.
So what happens in 2022 when the MSAs are done?
They're not totally done. It just comes down to a straight percentage.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, it's a guaranteed amount that everybody is supposed to get.
I'd have to look up the MSA.
It's went down, but because of cigarette sales. But there's like a guaranteed flat line of how much they're supposed to get.
Forever?
And then they get a percentage after 2022.
Yeah, for how long, though? I mean, when does...
Until the end of time.
Infinity?
Until the end of time.
Perpetuity.
Fuck.
Yeah, it's stupid.
That's what happen.
Yeah, that's what we're saying.
That's just paying for murder is exactly what they're doing.
It is, and that's what we're trying to say, is that it doesn't matter what, as long as cigarettes kept going, they get money. So they get the most right now. And so once those bonds are paid and done, then that money, it's wrong. I mean, all of it, like I have been saying for so long, is follow the money, you get your answers. Plain and simple. There was a chart that was put up, and it shows how much master settlement agreement there is out there. It is disgusting.
Oh yeah, I've read a bunch of those.
Because it was
I do. Have you seen it?
I've seen it, and I didn't got it, and I should have. It's
How many billions of dollars?
Oh,
Wait,
I've seen individual
pull it
states, individual cities. It will drive you crazy.
I'll find it. I'll get it right
of
now.
that money, Jen, was used to where it was supposed to go.
Very
None.
little.
Less than
Zip
like 1%.
Oh my God! I think
Yes.
I had a stroke when I saw that.
It was
Yeah.
like less than 0.1% of it was used for what it was supposed to, which was school
Depending on the state.
education.
I've seen it used for like rebuilding docks and stuff.
Mhm.
That was like not even close to anything that had to do with.
And a
what
lot of it
was
went into rebuilding or building new schools, which that's not what it was meant for. It was meant for the health community to do stop smoking ads, things like that.
And we've talked about this before. When money ends up in a state budget, it gets moved around like water. You know, it's wherever the need is where it goes.
Yeah.
Oh, it's disgusting. You know, I just want to say too, like, you know, I've been getting slammed everywhere in the groups, but listen, like, I'm kind of the the I don't know, school, whatever, of if it wasn't broke, why fix it? So when we're talking about pods and we're talking about, listen, I know there's newer vapors who have come out who are, you know, I'm going to use the word lazy, okay? Or they don't want to take the time. When I started vaping in 2011, there were no pod systems, there was no Nick salts, there was no anything, okay? I had to find a couple devices, not just one, because the first one didn't work for me, right? So I had to do, you have to want to quit smoking and move to vaping.
Yeah.
And you have to really have, this has to be your decision that I don't want to take the Chantix and go commit suicide. And I don't want to, or kill my neighbor. And I don't want to, I've tried the gum and it didn't work. And I've tried the patch and it gave me a stroke and that didn't work. And I tried all this other stuff and it didn't work. So vaping seems like a viable option. Okay. So like Jay Hayes was just on here and he was saying his shop sold 30 milligram regular nicotine. Okay. And it was selling and the step down was working. So why should we all stick with that? Okay. The reason why is because because manufacturers and distributors and shops all got money hungry. They jumped on the money train wagon. They saw this as a new opportunity, even though it was post, 8/8, whatever, a lot of the stuff was. They didn't care. They did it anyway. This is what is hot off the shelves. This is what's going. This is what people are reviewing. This is whatever the deal is. And so now people are saying, okay, so, but, open systems didn't work for me. You didn't have the right open system. And you didn't want it. And you didn't want it bad enough.
Just like, last night, see, this is where our experiences come into play. Last night, like I said, I was at my reunion, and they never expected me to be a smoker at any time or anything like that. Well, I'm talking to a couple people, and I had to go into about what happened with the carts, things like that. And, the one was like, well, I tried vaping, but it just didn't really work for me. And I was like, how many things did you try? And they're like, one thing. And I'm like, that doesn't, vaping is a very personal experience. You have to.
Yeah, I tried it once. It made me cough. I'm watching you smoke a cigarette. My dad says that all the time. He smokes or cigars like you did, Anthony, but he inhales, right?
Yeah.
And, oh, Jesus. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. And then he's like, and then I'll start vaping next to him. He's like, oh, man, can you get that crap away from me? Oh, geez. Oh. You hear me coughing like that? You're going to lose a lung.
Well, people that just start vaping, sometimes, after that first week, you start coughing up that crap you have in your lungs.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't realize that they have to give it time to get through. I'm trying to find that one. If you guys, I've been posting up, and I will continue to do so. I'll, at least mine and Robert's, links to our Twitter.
And I think Anthony's is in the description too now. I'm not.
Yeah, and I have downloaded the New York and the California ones. So if you need those, I will send it. Those are specific to those states. But if you look at California's, it's obvious. You get up to like 2013, 2014.
Well,
which is their
what
highest level of MSA money, then you see it
Yes.
drop every year consistently.
Yeah, what I'm doing though is putting right in chat so that if people can follow us on the social media, I'll be able to link it again and I can reshare that actual where it goes state by state on who
Yeah,
got what
that was-
money.
That was disgusting.
Well,
It
yeah,
was
and
disgusting.
if you line
to
that up
see.
right next to the flavor ban states,
Right.
the top 10 are right in line with that.
I mean, I know Greg Conley put it out, but it's like it is so disgusting. It's not just millions it's into the billions of dollars per
It feels
state.
like backroom meetings with big tobacco and these state governors. Like, hey, if you want to make some more money, you need to look at how we can get rid of this vaping stuff. And they're just finding a way to make that happen.
Sorry, pug butt.
You know, and like people in chat, some of the people in chat were like, "Well, we need to come up with a solution," and I guess
There are.
we do. But what frustrates me is we've needed a solution. They've been asking when Gottlieb was commissioner. He was asking us.
He begged us for a year.
Okay, what help me help you? You
And
know,
we were
do the Jerry Maguire thing. You know what I mean? And nobody was. He's like, this is what I think. I think that these labels, and I think this, and I think this trick stuff, and this this fruity pebbles, whatever, and what, and we kept selling it.
And if you guys like those flavors, the frustrating part is that if you like those damn flavors, we all like flavors, just change the freaking name.
Right. Change the name.
And he wasn't asking a lot. He really did. He couldn't be any more plain, and we pissed in his face repeatedly. And you guys can go back into our own, lives, NVR lives, and we've said this over and over again, and people thought we were crazy. And in the end, Rob and I were talking when this all began, and we're like, we told them so. Because
yeah, that's why I've avoided doing a show. Like I keep telling, I haven't done a show in 2 weeks because I feel like that's the only thing that would come out of my. I don't know what else to say. Like I was telling people earlier, it's like the very first show I ever did, ever in the history of the channel, was Fruits Have Been Banned in San Francisco, and nobody cared.
Can you toss in your IG too, please? And I'll keep these and I'll stick them in so that I'll have them now. Thanks, hon.
That all came straight off of the description.
Well, yeah, I know. I'm putting them on a sticky note, and then I can just shove them into chat. See, I do that stuff when I'm.
And now my Vapor's Instagram is having problems.
Really?
Mine too.
I can't make any comments from any picture that I upload. It won't let me put a caption at all.
I have a question
for you. I tagged one person was a CBD company, and it still will not let me post a caption.
Are you using something to post it, like Hootsuite?
Or a repost?
No, these are pictures that were taken in my facility that I was trying to post on Instagram
yesterday.
Are you
using your?
It would let me post the picture. Oh, it would let me post the picture. It just won't let me write a caption. It keeps saying everything that I put on there is inappropriate.
Anything that it actually says that because I can't.
Yes.
Instagram is updating because anytime I try to.
It's not that. Everybody tries trying to tell me it's that. I'll show you guys the picture.
People that I'm trying to tag, who have anything related to vaping, okay,
they're gone.
It's just buffering. Like it's not
they're
even
gone.
Find them. Yeah, like it's like they don't exist.
Do you know, Christine?
I don't know if you guys can read that or not, but
comments blocked. Oh, so I haven't gotten that yet, but right.
Yeah,
no matter what, I can put I love peanut butter, and it still will not allow me to say nothing about vape. Like I said,
so far I haven't, and I'm able to do it. So if you want to get stuff out there, Anthony, let me know, and I'll get them out for you.
This isn't even. I mean, some of this stuff isn't even vape related. It still won't let me write a caption.
And this is the sad part. I remember going on Instagram, and even after we had to put the warnings on it, I would see so much, vape-related stuff.
Yeah.
Nothing on Instagram. Nowhere. Gone. Yeah. It's gone.
Or the people who are like, I'm not going to post that. Because
anybody that is, and the ones that are, there's no more warnings anymore. They're just they're just violating everything. And I'm like, this does not help us, people. It does nothing to help us.
Yeah, and what a lot of the companies have done, which is sad that the companies have tried to get around it this way, is they tell people, "Oh, give us $5 and that's you buying it." No.
No.
About the companies that are now taking advantage of this and saying there was one. So I don't have the name of the companies because I'm still waking up, you guys. I'm sorry. It takes me forever. I know it's 11:30 here in Connecticut, but it takes me forever to wake up. I need 5 cups of coffee and 3 hours to actually wake up. But there was a company that said that they're doing a sale, and all of the proceeds are going to, I don't know who they said, VTA, CASA, whatever, combination of all three, EVA, whatever. I don't know. Okay, I don't have a problem with that. It's the companies who are posting that stock up now. I'm getting all these emails. Stock up now. It wasn't Flawless. God, who was it? See, I don't want to shout it out because I don't want to.
Yeah, my distributors are all having closeout sales right now, and it's starting to really scare me.
I don't want to call out the wrong company, right? So, but it was a company, and I emailed them directly, and I said, "What portion of these sales? Because you just posted this big long thing from the VTA and everything like that, and guys, stock up and blah blah blah, and you're giving us information, which is great. But what portion of these sales proceeds are going to advocacy?"
Yeah. And Fawn just asked if the tobacco or if the vape industry was worth more than the tobacco. By far, no.
No. Oh, hell no. You have to understand, guys, the tobacco industry is probably over $1 trillion company.
They've been around forever.
Yeah.
So,
And they're a worldwide.
comparing
some of these countries that they've been fighting about tobacco laws, they actually make more than their gross national product.
Right.
India, Indonesia, those Philippines, India, who just banned vaping completely, 85 of their population smokes.
Yeah.
Smoke as young as 10 years old there.
Yeah, the number of underage that smoked, I remember hearing that number, it was astronomical.
Yeah.
Astronomical.
Yeah, I mean, they are the world's producer right now of tobacco, most of it.
And you know what's disgusting about all of that is that, unfortunately, I lost my thought.
You're in Connecticut, so how much longer before you fall?
Well,
probably soon.
Holding out hope. Probably soon. We're meeting, I believe it's October 5th. One of the vape shops, when you had said that Connecticut is thriving, we're not.
No, the vape shop that I talked to was really busy because of the Massachusetts thing.
Right, at first. But the other end of that scale is the general population, the vapors who already vape, may be coming to Connecticut. There's a lot of people, okay, and who know what's causing these illnesses, right? We all know. We don't need to go through it again, okay?
No, we know.
So, but the general public who is just on Facebook and reading all this crap, okay, is going, I'm going to stop vaping. To be safe, I'm going to stop vaping. I'm believing this. I'm going to stop vaping. So Newington, a shop, AVT in Newington went out. And so we're all getting together with the media and politicians, and we're going to be having a meeting and everything like that, because face to face is how you have to do it. Now, Governor Lamont has said he's not making any executive orders. He's not doing it. He doesn't believe in it. He's not doing it until he wants to see the research. He wants to see, whatever first. He wants to know conclusively before he does something like this, because I think he knows we are like one of the most bankrupt states. Like so I think he knows doing that, how it's going to hurt. First of all, it's going to hurt his political career, number one.
Sure.
And number two, it's going to hurt our economy. So, you know what I mean? So it doesn't make any sense to make rash decisions like that, because if we were all working together, you know what I mean? We would be getting our roads paid and our schools built so that people didn't have to use the master settlement agreement money. They can put it to where it was really supposed to go. Not that they would anyway.
See, and that's the other thing. I think that the biggest mistake that was done about the MSAs is there was no independent oversight. It was just given to the state. That should have been independent oversight.
And you know what I also think? This is just my opinion, is that Connecticut could be a safe haven. If Lamont was smart, Connecticut could be a safe haven for Massachusetts, New York, all the surrounding states, okay? And could be booming.
Yeah.
Booming. If he does not cave to Cuomo and all these other people. I don't know. I mean, we really don't know. But my business mind is saying, hey, think about this opportunity. You could have a monopoly on this right here. Okay? Plus, you're also helping people who are on the Massachusetts-Connecticut border or on the New York-Connecticut border, or the companies that could, co-pack from Connecticut, or, whatever the deal is.
Well, you know why.
He could bring industry into the state, because if manufacturers knew that was a safe haven, they would move there.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Well, you know why after New York, Connecticut and those fell. He went over there.
Yeah.
I can't hear Beauty anymore.
I wasn't talking. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I see. I'm watching the wrong screen because I was putting stuff in. No. Cuomo went to those other states and said, hey, buddy. He just had a meeting. That's why it went.
And Lamont is saying, I think they're meeting, I want to say they're meeting October 1st, Lamont and Cuomo, and they had a press conference, and Cuomo didn't say anything. And Lamont kind of was saying, like, listen, I'm not on board with this, but kind of propping Cuomo up and maybe giving New Yorkers false hope, because saying, maybe we can join together, Connecticut and New York, and, and not do this and be more business savvy and whatever. Now, I think Cuomo's going to do what Cuomo wants to do, period.
Did I read correctly that he also added menthol into that ban as well?
That was, yes, menthol and mint is gone.
And just so everybody knows, because for some reason YouTube has been having issues.
Yeah, I'm sure they are.
Yeah, and they're not sending out notifications. Wendy didn't get notified about us being live. I do have a Facebook notification chat for in case people don't get notified. If you want added in that, please send me a Facebook message if you already have me.
Or me.
Or Jen. And one of us will add you to that chat, because we need to make sure you get these notifications.
Yeah. Hit the bell notification to be notified and subscribe. They aren't. And what is also going to be changing is community standards here very soon. So I will be doing an update on that.
Yeah.
But if you just put in like NVR Network or anything like that, our search results are going very much down on the page now, and only to a approved site. So they're changing it. And so if it doesn't fit their narrative, we're pretty much being shadow banned.
So
please.
So if you need
yeah.
to get in that chat, please let us know. We will get you in that chat.
And I'll start putting in our Facebook links in here as well, so you guys can get a hold of
Facebooks
us.
are
if you know.
Not our personal pages, but our I've got
NVR,
the NVR network, and I got
it.
Everything listed. So
are you putting them up, or do you want me to?
You can. Because I just did it that first time so that everybody had the actual links.
I'll do that, and I'll do my Juicing with Jen site too on here. And we have the NVR Network regular page. We also have a group page. We have the chat link page, and I also have Juicing with Jen and Juicing with Jen family chat. So I'll get those up for everybody if you guys want to head over there. At least that'll keep you notified. And I also really encourage you guys, get with Kassav. That is free. They are back, thank God, to doing calls to action.
Alex Clark will be at the Connecticut meeting also.
I'm sorry?
I said Alex Clark will be at the Connecticut meeting also.
Cool. Okay, so
here or around Connecticut, please get a hold of me, Christine Salazzo, on Facebook, or you can do I'm mostly on Facebook. Like I'm an old person. Facebook is I'm old. So, but that's where you can get a hold of me. I think I'm friends with most of them. If not, Beauty and the Vape or Very Vocal Vapors, I'll still get notified. I do Twitter and Instagram, but not as much. Facebook is
I
like,
like that Very Vocal Vapor. That's pretty good.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
Well, if you guys haven't, are you still doing the stories or have you stopped?
Well, I've stopped going to expos due to travel
Yeah.
because nobody wants to give any money. Nobody wants to give. I live on disability, guys. I'm 12.
I know.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about expos right now because I've been so disappointed in the last
Yeah,
few.
They're not happening right now.
I had a rant about that,
Sorry.
but but I am still, anybody who wants to can still reach out to me. You make yourself a free Zoom room and I will take the time to do your story and send it to your representatives in a private Zoom room. And that has always been an option. It's just expos have been where most people found me and where I got the most, obviously because it's a group of people congregating, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
Zoom rooms has always been an option and it's still an option. I will do whatever I can for anybody, period.
And if you're on the bottom level and you're like, you don't have a show and you don't have a big group of people to talk to, the one thing I would ask, especially right now, and I know this sounds silly, but wear your vape t-shirts when you're out and about. People will stop and ask you questions. And I know it sounds like such a dumb, like grassroots thing kind of do, but educating those people, when you tell them that, they're going to go and repeat that information to someone else who will repeat it to 3 or 4 more people. And unfortunately, that right now is the only way we're going to get real truth to spread. Because otherwise, all they're seeing are these really bad headlines, not reading the articles and thinking it's horrible. I was just in Walmart the other day, walked up to the cashier, and she says, "Oh, that vape, that's the stuff that's killing people, right?" No. Just had to sit there and have a 10-minute conversation. But because I was wearing a shirt that had vape on it, that's how she knew I was a vapor. And so, if you're looking for, like, what can I do? Throw on, make vape shirts your attire for the next until I say otherwise. Just put on a vape shirt when you go out and about. I don't care if you're going to the grocery store to pick up a few things. Someone will stop you and go, "Can you tell me about this? I've seen it in the news." And you can have that moment to explain that the products that we use are not what the issue is and maybe change a life.
Hey, Jen, check Facebook.
Yeah, unfortunately with mine now, even in 80-degree weather here in Connecticut, I have to, I wear all my vape shirts, but then I have to wear like this underneath it because, we're all dying from Triple E. So, mosquitoes, just another thing for us to worry about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's ban mosquitoes now. Let's just ban them.
I have heard there's some genetic science going on with that. So.
Oh, really?
They're trying to do some DNA changing to make mosquitoes sterile.
Oh, okay.
Because of the malaria outbreaks.
Right.
So, yeah.
Here,
they'll probably ban that too because it's harmful to mosquitoes.
That's fine, Rob.
What'd you say?
That's cool.
Hey, Christine, we were just talking, and we would like to offer you a room in Zoom that is one link. We have a pro membership for the channel. We would like to offer you a room for very local vapors. Anytime you have somebody that you need to record, that you can automatically have a pro Zoom account room that you just take them to.
I'll be right back, guys.
Okay.
That would be wonderful.
I mean, because I can make it up and set it up as a recurring room, set it up to where a moderator does not have to be in there, and it can be the two of you in there, and that's it. Okay. And that way you can that'll be our contribution to helping you out, is giving you access to the account that we currently use, and just that way you could just say, "Hey, meet me in this room at this time," and they don't even have to go through the time of making an account and all that. They don't have to set up the room, and you don't have to set it up. It's automatically set up.
That's amazing. Thank you so much.
Well, I mean, it's not that much, but every little bit helps.
It does. It does. Because, I speaking of grassroots, I mean, I'm grassroots. Listen, I don't want people to feel sorry for me because I'm $12K in personal debt. or credit card debt, because you know what, that was a choice that I made. You know, I made that choice, and not to be in debt. Obviously, I thought that, you know, there would be more financial help, but regardless, I made that choice. I went in knowingly doing that. I said, but you know, and I think the problem is with the grassroots difference is, first of all, I think people identify with it more.
Mm-hmm.
I think people identify with it more. So when you're talking about expos, Anthony, and stuff like that, and even some of our, you know, organizations, they don't identify with lobbyists. They don't identify with, they just can't. They don't get the politics. They don't get, you're not on the same level. I'm just an average, you know, woman who, you know, life got so much better, and I'm so much healthier due to vaping. And that's how I talk to people, and that's how it is. You know what I mean? I'm not affiliated with any political party. I just, you know, I vote for the issues, whatever the deal is. I'm not, you know, so people feel like more comfortable. But it's hard when you're financially strapped and you're whatever. I mean, I think there's a lot of companies that heard about me, and instead of, well, in fact, I know, because there's one in particular, and I'm not gonna name them because it's water under the bridge, whatever. They came up to me at an expo. We want to work with you. We want to take this, you know, global. We want to blah, 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 and everything like that. When it came down to them actually meeting with me, never happened. Saw them at every single expo. Hey, when can we meet? Oh, you know, I got a meeting here, or I got to go get some sleep. I just got in from, you know, Timbuktu, whatever the deal was. Meeting never happened. Then come to find out, they go to another expo, do exactly what I'm doing, minus the important part, which is sending it to the representatives. And you know, so they basically stole what I'm doing and do it under a different name. So that's the thanks kind of that I got from the industry. And I'm not talking the vapors, and I'm not talking every single person in the industry. The people who did sponsor me were amazing, and their family, and I love them to death. But unfortunately, that is just, you know, the nature of the beast, and that is the mentality. So when we get back to Anthony, like, why should we compromise? Unfortunately, like, the mentality of this industry is every man for himself, you know, and that's really, we can't do that now. We can't. So, you know, we can't be pointing fingers at other people, and we can't be, and I understand your frustration. You're so frustrated. I get it. You're like, I'm done compromising. I'm done. You personally feel like you have compromised so much. So do I. Personally, I feel like I have. But industry-wide, how much have we really? We haven't. You know, there's been way more, you know, FUs to what we've been asked to do. And they've been hashtagged, you know?
And I don't disagree with you. I just don't understand why we're compromising on something that doesn't need compromise. You know, if it's like compromising for water. It's something that's not killing people. Like, if it was killing 500 people a day versus 1,300 per cigarette, I would totally understand. But that's where everybody wants to compromise. And I'm like, what's the point of that?
You're being so logical, and I so get it. And I have had this ever since I've been advocating. I've had this, you know, I feel dumber every single time, because I say to people, isn't this just common sense? Isn't this just logical? To those of us that can read between the lines and see it, yes, it is. But we're not dealing with logical people. We're not dealing with common sense. We're not dealing with any of that. I agree with you 100%. So we have to go at it a different way. Like, we just have to. You know, it sucks. It just absolutely sucks. You know?
And I would be happy to compromise if they were arguing logically against me.
Right, but they're not going to, because they're not logical.
Right. So how can you compromise with someone who is illogical and emotional? That's like compromising with a crazy person.
That's this industry, and that's this industry, and this industry, or us, as you know, when we're dealing with the FDA or the legislators or whatever, right? Because we don't fit their narrative. It's all about money. But logically, like we were just talking about Connecticut, or, you know, any of these other states, use this to your advantage. Don't do this. Don't do that. Become safe havens. And then, well, that's logical. So why would we do it? No, we'd rather just jump on the bandwagon of what everybody else is doing because it's the cool kids club.
Yeah, and along those same lines, when Michigan separated combustible tobacco products from vape, I saw that as being the logical thing to do in that situation. That's why I was so on board. And I think that's why a lot of vapors did, because they could see the logic in that. And then when they turned it back on us, it was like, are you kidding me? Like we just saw this as being a logical move of a way you could actually save people's lives. And what you did with that was just completely turn it the other way and cause more problems than you ever started.
And that's what we have to understand. I think when we're dealing with politicians and we're dealing, no offense to you, Robert, but when we're
offense to you, Robert.
Or offense to you, Robert, whatever. Regardless. But when you're dealing with politicians, you're dealing with whatever. Listen, it all takes money. It's all about money. It all takes money. Even as lobbyists, when people are like, well, we don't know where the money's going to. And listen, I'm being grassroots. I'm 12K in debt. It takes money. It takes money, guys.
Well, and you had said before that you're a parent. My question, I guess, is what consequences would you recommend to other parents that catch their underage person using a vapor or smoking product?
That's hard because I was in another chat, or not a chat, I think in a forum.
I have an idea, but no one's going to like it.
Okay, so it depends on how old they are, okay? So if they are under 18, carefully, because this happened to me. Okay, so I'm going to tell you guys my story. So this happened to me. So my kid got caught with a vaping device, okay? So guess what happened? Everything he loves was taken away from him. You know what he was able to do? He was able to go to school, do homework, do chores, and then he could go outside and throw a tennis ball against, the side of the building for hours, like we used to have to do. Okay, that was it. There was no phone, there was no anything, there was no whatever. Okay, and he started being productive. Things started to get done, all this other stuff. Okay, then he was caught with. Oh, but when that happened, do you think me, as an advocate, did not go bullshit? Oh, I went bullshit. I went crazy, mom, on the kid. Okay, not violent. I have never spanked any of my kids. Not saying that those kids are wrong. Okay, all I'm saying, everybody was raised a different way. I used to love getting spanking when I was a kid, not in that kinky way. For those who know me. But I used to love getting a spanking because you spanked me, it was over with. But don't take away my Nintendo DS because that hurts. A spanking, whatever. 10 seconds done with, give me the belt for 10 seconds. Okay, fine, whatever. It hurts, but there's the problem with that is that so now my son got caught with a THC cartridge, right? Which not only am I allergic to hemp, so I can't be around any of that stuff. I can't be around it at all. And he was now 18. Do you know what I said to him? You see this little, of course I had my rubber gloves on because I can't be around it, can't touch it. So I took it and I said, you see this? Guess where I'm going? And I grabbed my keys and said, guess where I'm going? You're now 18. You're an adult, right? No. You're an adult, right? I'm going to the police station. That's where I'm going right now. Oh, my son has no anxiety, whatever. I've never. I thought I was going to have him hospitalized because he had no ever.
You have to turn Jen down. Sounds like Darth Vader over there.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's right next to the thing. Can you guys tell how, this is how upsetting this whole thing is, not just to me, but the entire, I'm like going.
Yeah, believe me, I know.
I think I'm going to end up at 16 milligrams myself at this point.
And I think the point is, how would you discipline your kid? It depends on what state you live in. Because here, all I did was say, in general, the friends of his that I know who vape, listen to me. I'm not their parent, but I can educate them, and I did. And I had 18-year-olds. We're now T21, right? But we had 18-year-olds saying, "No, I got grandfathered in." I'm like, you don't even know what you're talking about. Why would we have been fighting for against T21 if you were just going to be grandfathered in? How are they going to enforce that? How do they know when you walk in there? Oh no, do you have a grandfathered in card? Come on. Like, like you get your discount at McDonald's on your coffee when you're over 55. I mean, you have that punch card. No, you don't have that. Okay, so you don't know what you're talking about. I said, so you know what, Mister? I said, every time you get caught, every single time you get caught, it's a $300 fine. So you know what? And do you even have a job? No, you don't even have a job. I don't know how you're going to do that, because if you're just going to keep vaping, but
I'm sorry.
But the point is, I'm like, I wish I had your income, because if you just have that money to throw out the window, how about you throw it my way so I can buy groceries? Okay, but you got to be careful, because state to state, I made a broad statement in my day and age. I'm almost 50 years old. I'm 49 years old, right? I said, in general, all of you guys, you teenagers, you guys who think you know it all, I would just like to take your heads and bash them against the wall. I didn't say it directly to about my son. Guess what showed up in my door?
Cops.
A letter from DCF, Child and Family Services.
Yep.
Okay? Because my son went to school, repeated the story. It was taken out of context by a teacher who happened to be passing by. And you know what? Like, was there any real investigation? Was there a case even opened or whatever? No, that's not the point. Okay, but now I had to go through. So you have to watch what you say. So how to discipline them, I don't really know. I think you have to know your own personal child and know how it's going to hurt the most.
And in lies the problem. That's exactly what I was trying to get to. In lies the problem is that without consequences, there is going to be no change. And that's the issue that I have with the underage vaping things. Like, spanking is one of those things. It's definitely from my generation, but I see that really going away to the point where when I was younger, I mean, you'd see a kid get his pants pulled down in the supermarket and get spanked. Nowadays, the cops would be called, and I understand that.
Yeah.
How do we make that change to that? Now, what I'm going to say is, just stick with me for a second. If you're an adult and you break the law, what happens to you? You go to jail. Right. Okay. So as a young person at age, 10 years old, why not have a 4-foot by 4-foot cage? Put them in for the day. Be like, this is what you're looking forward to when you get older. These are the consequences for breaking the law, and give them a feeling about what that's going to be like, and maybe give them a second thought about, hey, maybe I don't do it. I'm not saying a dog cage, all right? Don't take this out. Right? But if you want to be an adult and you want to do things that are for adults, when you break the law as an adult, this is the consequence. Okay?
Well,
so if you want to continue to do this is what you're going to be looking at in the future. To me, that's a much better training tool than it is the spankings or taking away the phones and all that. Yes, that might work for some kids, but I'm telling you what, my son always wanted to be around people, and if I put him in a room by himself for a couple hours, he would straighten up.
Depends. Yeah, it depends on. But again, I think it's a kid by kid basis.
Yeah.
But you're still teaching them about the future. You're still treating them as an adult in that situation.
You're being real. This is the real world. You know what? Once you turn 18, you got to live in the real world. Now, I have a teenager who just turned 18. Well, Mom, I'm like, well, you need to call your doctor. Well, I've never done that. Well, guess what? You're 18 now. They won't let me talk to you.
Yeah. And even teaching your kids to pay bills before they get out of the house is a training tool, and lots of parents don't do that. That's why their kids are in financial despair, because they don't know how to live in that life. And I had to get on this with my ex-wife. I'm let him go to the grocery store and buy his own food. Give him an opportunity to make that mistake while he lives at home. Then when he goes out and he's on his own and he eats all his food and he's like, well, I don't get just magical food that shows up all the time. No, as an adult, that doesn't happen. Some days you go hungry. Sometimes you're pumping gas and deciding whether I'm going to fill my tank or eat.
We laugh
those are real life things.
We laugh at it, but you're 100% on. You're talking about what I'm living in right now.
Yeah, they don't teach economics out there anymore.
No, they don't.
I don't want them to teach economics. I want them to teach like business life, like. Yes. How to balance a checkbook, how to understand how far money actually goes.
People have no respect for money. That's the thing.
My
you sound like you're playing a drum set over there.
Now, which is great. They do have a financial math here in school.
All right, enough.
just
Yeah, I don't know what the hell you're doing, but quit it, dude.
I was trying to fix my mic. That was the whole thing.
Yeah.
just general life skills. But you know, you can't always blame it on the parent, and that's my point. It's like, well, if these parents would just parent, you know what? Some of us try, and we're not allowed. The government has blocked that too.
I I totally get that, but no parent has ever seen a flash drive that's this long.
Oh no.
Okay. So I hate that argument of like, well, there's just nothing I can do. It's just their kids are kids and they're going to do.
And that goes the
Okay.
same for teachers, because if they've been teaching, they know what the hell a flash drive looks like.
What are we talking about
Yeah.
again when we were talking about the industry and the pod systems that came out, and due to the, you know, as opposed to the mouth to lungs that we used to smoke, we used to vape, and then, you know, trickle down to, you know, lower milligrams. It's laziness. Or
I understand what you're saying
Definitely.
too, but I also think, and we've talked about this quite a bit, and I have to put this 2 cents in there. I would love to see the statistics of how many people actually made the switch from smoking to vaping once pod systems became on the market. I think that level is going to be really high, really, really high, because you're right. Lazy smokers turned into lazy vapors. I get that, but I'd much rather be a lazy vapor than a lazy smoker.
I agree 100%. But there are open pod systems that you can refill. Why do we have to have it a dual pod that you have to go buy more pods? And well, no, you know what? I don't care even if there is a pod system, as long as there is no reason. There's no reason for 50 freaking milligrams.
That's what I was
One unfiltered cigarette, a Camel, is 32 milligrams.
I understand everything you're saying there, and I'm not disagreeing. I just think anything above 20 should require a prescription. You want to be 20 or less, that's cool. But if you want to be more than 20, good Lord. That's coming through my headphones pretty bad.
Good, because I'm going, what the heck? I'm on my double.
I'm getting the replay. I don't know if he turned up the volume on the.
That's odd because I turned off the mic.
Oh, yeah. All I got was my voice.
And I was getting it too. I was going, okay, I did not say that.
Oh, yeah. It would have came over yours because I didn't turn it off on the main. Sorry about that, guys. I forgot I didn't turn it off on the main because I was checking for everything else.
So if you want to talk about a compromise, I'd be willing to compromise 20 milligram or lower in the stores and 21 milligram or higher by prescription only. There's a compromise I'm willing to make.
Here is a couple things. All right. I understand what people are saying, and Wendy, I will get to that point as well. We have to look at this. There is a group of people, unfortunately, in the community, big name people, big voices, that are all or nothing. And I've been watching this for a very, very, very long time. And having had a huge background in politics and being extremely involved, running a political party for a long time, everybody's like, oh, this is not politics, this is about health. It's political, especially when you're talking about something as big as cigarettes.
Yeah.
So this was a political chess game. And I'm having to think about this because I have to be careful how I word things. Especially after I started working with David Gorlitz. Boy, the shit I know now. And I have to be careful what I'm talking about. God, this sucks. But what I can say is that we have to give. So my thought is see, Juul's been at the table with, Juul Altera. So Big Tobacco has been at the table, especially RJ Reynolds, since they got that 20 or 40 million, I don't know the exact number, I'd have to look it up, IQOS system passed through the FDA like that. That is our benchmark, people, for our PMTAs. That's what we're looking at.
I mean, you said it
How
passed through like
ridiculous.
that, but it still cost them almost $1 billion to put it through.
Well, of course. But think of that, guys. That's that right there alone would have decimated it. Even if people banded together to get the money together to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And I think that's why they did it like that.
Oh,
I think
absolutely.
that's why the first ones to go through, because they wanted to set that benchmark of
But
unbelievable amount of money obtainable.
and I think there's still an opportunity here. We could still make offers here, and we are going to have to give. Because if we don't give, you think this black market lung disease is bad now?
Yeah, that's the real truth.
If this goes, I mean, we've got New Jersey looking at a full-on, you're caught with it, boom, jail time. You've got New York just adding mitten menthol. Boom. What's the one that passed and you will go to jail? What's the one that did pass with the hardest one? Was that Philly? It was one that just did it on yesterday.
What was it, Washington?
Yeah, it's a if you have
Washington
any at
State.
all. Yeah.
It was it Wisconsin? It was one of those on back east. Anyway, here's some of the ones. You can hate it, but this, I think Rob and I have agreed on this a lot. We're going to need to do federal T21.
Yeah.
And the reason we say that is because people that are 18 and 19, a lot of them are still in high school. They're buying them for their friends, and they're taking them in. Like it or not, kids are kids. And I get it. Even if there's still kids, they're going to get their hands on it. We did at 12, 13, 12, 14. We smoked. Yeah, Tricky. I know there's one state that has the full-on ban. I mean, if you have, and then there's, what was it? I said Wisconsin, Michigan, or some whatever one is over there that just the first one that did it. But if you're carrying like, yeah,
remember when we used to
Michigan.
have one ban a week to talk about?
I know. I can't even keep track.
I know, that's the worst part.
So
Trying
bad.
to figure out, and every state's laws are a little bit different or really convoluted of how they're doing this.
Now,
so,
Jen,
yeah,
just curious, since you're actually there,
Well,
do you think it's actually going to happen with Oregon? Because I know there's talk about it.
Well, what happened is yesterday we had our second death. And Governor Brown is right now talking to attorneys and the state health authority and in Portland. What it is our state is not in session. We have a long session that's ended. Our short session is in February. So we're safe possibly until then. But yeah, she could do what the others have done like that.
I mean, Virginia, they're already talking about it. I don't know if it went through yet. The governor was talking about it there.
That was yesterday he started talking it in Virginia.
No, it started Thursday.
Thursday evening. You're right. Thursday evening.
And
but
in Maine, they are introducing a bill to ban sale of vaping products.
Yeah, some of them are pushing it farther than flavors. They're just saying no.
Everything.
Yeah.
And see, in those states, you're even, sorry, I got something on my glasses. My dog spooged for my glasses. And you're caught with a vaping device. You're getting handcuffed and going to jail. I think one of them, you're caught with more than 3 bottles, and you
That's gone.
are.
Yeah, that's gone.
They took that
from
out.
Michigan
Oh, did
one.
they removed it?
They
did
took,
they
yeah,
good?
she did.
That's
She took
stupid.
that out before she signed it. But yeah,
it wasn't enforceable. Like, how could you? What are they going to do? Search my purse? Like that? That was just stupid. That was dumb.
Well, if you have a vaping device and they can see it, they can search anything they freaking want, honey. Once you're arrested, they do what the hell they want.
Well, that was just on the flavors, though, Jen. The one that was 3 to 4 bottles, that was just a flavor ban. So.
And I forget, I don't know if anybody watched Grim Green's live show Thursday night. I know you were in there, weren't you, Christine?
I was in there for a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I saw you.
I was in there from beginning to end, so.
I saw you put your thing up too. It was going so fast. I said hi, I don't think you saw it. But because I
Yeah, that chat was moving.
I know you. Yeah, I saw you, and I said, "Hey, I'm still waiting for my box."
Oh yeah, I didn't see that. Oh. No, but that's the thing. I mean, there's usually a few hundred people in there for sure. But I've seen even like that's what she said. They're topping like 1,400 live viewers. Jay Hayes, same thing. You're seeing it every time now. People are finally pulling their head out of the sand and realize that the government's not going to save them from this.
Now,
There's not
we
going to
do
be any
have an
bailout.
update about Virginia. Loomis had said that their Smoke Free Trade Association reports that he has no immediate plan to ban vapor products and is aware of the illicit THC cartridges being the claws.
Yeah.
So,
right now, what the reason that I put up the Twitter links, people, is that is where the news is flying. I mean,
Yeah.
we're getting news like this within seconds, and it's getting spread. So I know the second I'm getting it through Greg Conley and all of those, it's going straight out. Please follow me. I am there. I'm doing it, believe it or not, almost day and night. I'm taking cat naps because my phone is going off so much.
And I hate Twitter.
I do too.
Said I would never use Twitter. You cannot ban me to 140 characters or less.
Oh! You know what? Rob told me how to do it. Rob told me how to do it.
I told Christine how to do it too last week.
The dot, and then you keep writing, and then. But you know what?
Oh, stop!
No. You know what, Christine? There's actually a way to do it. Is when you hit that blue button to type and you start typing, underneath it, it'll have continue tweet, and you just tap that and you can keep typing.
Is this on phone or on computer?
It was on my phone.
Because I don't do it anything. I don't do stuff on my phone. I can't see with my autoimmune diseases.
Oh,
are you watching it on the computer? Are you watching the stream? Because I'll show everybody how to do it when you're on a computer. Let me pull up my Twitter.
Rob, you know what I'm talking about? That little button you can click where you
can
just
I know how to do it because I told her how to do it last week.
And it'll do the entire thing. And there is an app that you can have that will put if you want to read somebody else's entire stream, you can do the same thing from Twitter.
I accidentally switched it and forgot once again which one I had everything to.
And the real nice thing about Twitter, it's not like YouTube or Instagram where you're just talking to, the congregation. You're actually getting people that are opposed, and you're actually being able to have that back and forth.
Okay, let me pull up my...
I'm learning that too, Wendy, because I've always done the Instagram faithfully and the Facebook. I was doing Google Plus and all that, but now I mean, I had to learn Twitter like that in the last 3 weeks. The other people, I have been really pushing VAEP, especially right now. It's called the Vaping Advocacy Education Project. This country, for 3 years, I have been wanting a project like that. I've talked about it. I just did not have time to do it myself.
Okay.
It is no, wait, you just wait a minute, Rob. This is more important.
I am.
VAEP is based out of Canada. We are bringing it here. I am basically the person here in the U.S. that does it. I do it. It's me. Wendy and I do, Kelly and I do it together here. I kind of talk to her what's going on. She makes it up and we put it out. But it is completely science and fact-based. There are 2 RNs. Kellyanne is a registered nurse. Mark, who his sister is as well. I'm a former CNA paramedic. So this stuff is done by medical professionals. Everything on the website is free to use. You can print it, you can reshare it. And it's good stuff, guys. I don't know. I know Rob uses it and has seen it. I don't know if you have, Anthony, or
yeah, I have
seen it. You haven't seen it, Beauty?
No.
Okay. But it's at VAEP World on Twitter. I actually do all their social media. It's really helping, and we're
damn Twitter again.
Just add it. Oh, just add it, honey. And they're on Instagram as well. But it's really good. Every new thing we're getting more information, and she will make a shareable that's related to that. Canada today had their very first death as well. So,
And that's confirmed.
It is a confirmed death today.
Wait,
Today's the first one?
Yeah. 'Cause-
I got that on Regulator Watch like a little while ago, I thought.
yeah. And
No, it was actually confirmed today.
Okay.
I'll put the link. It's at I should know this in my heart.
There's the correct link, Christine.
That's her Twitter, and then the actual website is this, and I'll get it. I can't.
Okay, Rob, give us a Twitter tutorial.
Go right ahead. I will work on this other sticky. So
okay, now we're switching over to desktop mode. Okay, now here is my Twitter. Vapin Minuteman reviews. That is my Twitter. Let's say I'm going to go in and say vaping saves lives. I'm just doing this as a quick. Now, once I fill this up completely, there's this, you just go ... and then you see this little plus sign right here.
I'm not seeing anything.
Well,
you have to wait.
You have
There's
to wait
a delay.
for a couple minutes.
Oh, okay.
There's a
10
to
20 second delay. Yeah.
I'm the dummy who needs the help, and I'm not seeing anything.
It'll be up on the main YouTube stream.
Okay.
There's this little plus button right next to where it says tweet. You click that, and boom, add another tweet. And it adds it in a stream of tweets. That is how President Trump does that, to where he does like 8 or 9 tweets talking about the same thing, and it's just a continual tweet.
Okay. So when I see his tweets coming across my computer screen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's what he's doing?
Yeah.
When they're all in a line. Like it's all one continuous statement. Right. He's just adding that next tweet to keep it under 140 characters per tweet, but... And then
when you brought up a point I was questioning, are they banning any type of words or anything on Twitter? Hashtags or any of that kind of stuff?
I
Not
haven't
yet.
seen anything.
Okay. A lot of other social media platforms are doing it, so just curious if Twitter's finally going to be like the place where we can actually talk.
Right now, yes.
I don't see Twitter really banning anything, because I've seen...
Who's Twitter owned by?
Yeah, because I've seen some questionable stuff on Twitter.
Oh, Twitter is banning conservative people left and right. Somebody just got banned. That young lady Greta from whatever talking about climate change that it has is mentally challenged. She has Asperger's disease. Somebody was saying that basically, and I kind of agree, her parents are using her, and they got banned. And it wasn't something mean or nasty. It was just facts. And yeah, they banned them right off, and they won't get their account back. And it wasn't bad. It was just saying, you shouldn't be using someone that has, a mental illness. Because after she did that thing at the, the UN, she went and had a nervous breakdown in front of the UN building.
See, I've been using hashtag MSA blood money like crazy.
Yeah, blood money. I vape, I vote. If you vape, advocate, and educate are big ones. I am proof. Those are all really good hashtags.
See you, Loomis.
I kind of feel bad because I like the We Vape, We Vote thing. I kind of wish we'd have went that route too.
Well,
It
I've
kind of
used
joins
that
us
for
together,
years.
you know?
I still
Yeah,
use Vape We Vote. I still use it.
I use it all the time.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah, Twitter is still owned by the people who created it.
right. Well,
Oh, okay.
Wendy said if you aren't following the climate narrative, you'll get banned. I mean,
Oh yeah.
all these
No,
like this is the state of this is what we're dealing with right now. And like I said, now they're going to ban us how we can parent our children, and now they're going to ban, what they're banning everything that they shouldn't ban, like you said, but they're not banning what they should ban. Like it's just
Well, and that's the thing that I keep bringing up to people is like, you may not care about this, but the next thing they ban might be something that you do care about.
Yeah.
right.
And
Oh,
and
yeah.
this is and then the next one's going to be a lot easier than this one.
No, and I have people because I make all my advocacy. I've noticed I don't get as many views or reshares or whatever. My personal page has basically become a business page at this point. I mean, the people that I know in real life are hardly on there, and the people that I know, all you guys, are on my
right.
page.
Mm-hmm.
Business page doesn't get as much, traction. Like if I could go live on my personal page, I would, but the thing with it is that so I have people in my family that are totally like, hey, if it's going to save the children, then get rid of it. And so that's when I posted when the CDC came out with their report, and I was like, well, the CDC is now saying this. Do you believe it? Do you believe us now? Like, stuff. It's like because I want to get it out to even the people that don't believe and are believing the media hype and believing all that stuff. It's like, listen, I'm not being rude about it. I'm just like, I had my aunt post something and she's like, well, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, you know what, Auntie, like, I'll sit down with you. You need to be educated.
Yeah.
That's it. And you know what? And that's what the problem was. In my opinion, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I really truly apologize. That is the absolute problem. We were not allowed to educate, or we could, but shops were not allowed to educate. They were banned from the ability to educate people about vaping. Explicitly, they were told they couldn't.
Yeah, it's one of those compromises we made.
Yeah.
But all the shops that I know here in Connecticut, I mean, because how enforceable was that really? Unless someone from the FDA came in and
They did.
under disguise. No, in some cases they did.
Yeah.
But at that point, they really didn't have the manpower to go into
No.
every single shop. And so they did to some, yes. But the numbers the numbers where they didn't go far outweighed the numbers where they did go.
True.
And that was our responsibility then as consumers. I was spending all my time at
Educate.
vape shops. Guess what? I don't work here. You know what I mean? I'll show you
Yeah.
that together. I'll show you what to do with that. I'll explain to you any questions that you have. I'll do whatever. It's our job. And you know what?
Yeah.
Again, I'm gonna go back to the lazy people. I'm sorry. Like
It is. It's very lazy.
It's very lazy. Great example in Cleveland. I had to purchase $200 worth. I believe it was $250 worth of dollars worth of when Dimitri and Dr. Forcellino's flavor thing study was going on, right? And there were glitches and people were having problems with it and whatever. And I went and I said, listen, you spend 15 minutes. I will walk you through it. I stopped taking interviews. I said, this is more important. I will do this. And you know what? And I will then give you this out of my own pocket. I don't have it, but okay. You know what I mean? I will give you this. I mean, that's what you had to do. People are like, kind of like, well, what's in it for me? Well, obviously your life doesn't matter. I guess your life isn't worth much is what you're telling me, because what's in it for me is your life and you not orphaning your children, but that's not good enough monetarily, or what's in it for me.
Vapors are lost because they never had to advocate to be a smoker.
I'm going to say something, and Anthony's going to love me for saying this. Trigger has been talking about, she was wanting to I Vape, I Vote in 4X. His t-shirts are large for what they have their size. He sent me a 3X, and I fit it perfectly. He only has.
I'm a big guy, and I wear the 3X.
So I am going
I'm
to put
still waiting for my shirt.
I am
Yeah.
putting a link up to actually vapors1.com to their site that you can get the actual I Vape I Vote t-shirt from him.
Use coupon code WW15. It's good through the end of the month. 15% off of that.
And they're only $11.99.
Yeah.
So I mean, they are cheap for a t-shirt.
I can't do them any. I mean, I'm literally like paying you guys to take these things at this point.
You don't carry extra smalls, do you?
No, I'm in the Midwest.
Oh, and the smalls are all sold out. Mediums are sold out.
Larges are the next one available.
Do you know what a large is going to look like on me?
It's going to look beautiful. Just put a belt on. It'll be like a little mini skirt.
Hey, I mean, the thing
And I want a picture of that. You wear pajamas anyway. Just consider it a night shirt.
That's true.
And the reason I did that was because all of us big people always get left out of shirts.
Oh, now
that's exactly why.
If anybody wants a Very Vocal Vapors shirt, I got plenty of 5X, 4X, 3X. I got all of them. So, just hit me up. I'll send you one.
Yeah.
I think I need a new one. My husband shrunk mine.
Well, hit me up.
But yeah, I mean, those shirts are great for that price.
And I know I came here, on here angry today because I am. I'm not usually that guy. I'm usually the calm, logical argument kind of guy, but I'm to my fill on this. I can't believe that America has turned this direction. Like I just don't understand. It's that greed that has just twisted me up so bad. I mean, I believe it. Don't get me wrong, but it's just like I'm tired of sitting around making that calm, logical argument and no one listening. It's like I feel like now is the time I've got to yell. And the thing that really pushed me really over the edge is when I was watching that hearing in LA and watching that guy be on that goddamn phone playing that video game. Like I wanted to just rip him out of that chair because they just don't care.
No.
Their minds are just made up about this stuff, and it just drives me crazy.
Do you want to know what irritated me, I think, more than that personally, is when I saw, oh gosh, I forget his name. He looked Indian or Hindu, that testified at the congressional meeting while that one vapor testified. What was her name? Had it up a second ago. Anyway, she was fantastic and said that the Royal College of Physicians
was a false study.
Was a false study.
Fake news or whatever. Yeah, false study.
Yeah,
I was like,
that was one of the first things I mentioned. I think before Anthony even came on, I mentioned that. I was like, really?
I think I have it here. I'm not sure, but I was like, are you shitting me?
Yeah, it's not like the great studies we do in there in the States where we pour vape liquid onto a pea strip.
I mean, we were 10 years behind. Like I was saying earlier, we were 10 years behind England saying that cigarettes cause cancer. Now we're behind the 8 ball again.
Were the Harvard studies a fake study too?
According to that person, probably. Again, if it doesn't suit their narrative, then it was fake.
It doesn't. Well,
and if Trump's world, it's all fake news.
Well, if it came from Stanton Glantz, it'd be
all hail Stanton Glantz.
Or Gupta.
I mean, you just sit there and you go, okay. I think, and so solutions here, that's what I was going to talk about. Some solutions that we could do. Federal 21, I think that's got to be a must. Like it, hate it, whatever.
This worked really well in Hawaii.
Has it?
No, they have Tobacco 21. Yeah, Tobacco 21 went into effect there in 2016, and they have the highest percentage of underage vapors.
Okay, and we have, alcohol's 21. So anyway, What I am saying, it could help deter. It helps.
Oh, I'll
helps.
take tobacco 21 if it helps everything else, but it's not going to help kids to stop.
I know. Okay.
Get you,
But
Anthony. We understand.
It shows us willing to work with them. That's what it does.
Right.
This is
But
what
come
I'm
up
trying
with
to say.
a written set of compromises that you're saying, if we sign this, you guys are done making us compromise. Until that happens, I'm tired of hearing about it.
Shut up. That's what I'm trying to say.
All right.
That I think the next thing. See, I lose my train of thought, and I'm going to have to slap you.
It's my
so I think tobacco 21 is got to be a must. I had a list.
Caps.
Nicotine cap is probably going to be one we're
absolutely.
Have to do.
I think the cap, my personal opinion, I think should be 32. I think that's more than reasonable. I mean, I was smoking up to 3 packs, and I started out at 22. I think anything above that needs to be prescribed. I know people. I mean, that's something that we could move around. I guess I don't know. I'm against prescribing it because then we're paying pharmaceuticals. That's me.
Well, Anthony, you just got to sell.
So so I think that's it. I think that Nick Salts needs to be more heavily investigated. Is that possibly some of the problem? Is it?
It's not even. Salts are not even legal though, according to 8.8. Like
I know.
Who had it out before that?
They had it. They had a sale for it. It wasn't tested. We've had e-liquids tested for a long time.
No, I know tested, but I'm saying like, I don't know.
I agree. You know what, Christine? I have never vaped a salt in my life. I don't get it. I don't get it.
I've vaped 30 milligram, and I can understand keeping the salts up to 30. I really can. Because some people can't handle the traditional nicotine above 18.
Yeah, but some people can't handle I can't handle the Nick salts. You know how many Nick salts I got to review, and I had to call the companies and be like, guys, I'm sorry, I can't do it.
Yeah.
So if the FDA would put out a list of independent laboratories that if your product was tested and they said that it was okay and they left us alone, sure, I'll be on board with that.
Okay. So
they don't get to put their 2 cents in. We don't get to put our 2 cents in. Independent laboratory. They test it. They say,
absolutely,
this is up to 95% healthier than cigarettes. They go, okay, you pass. I'm totally on board for that. That will never happen.
I was just gonna say that was my follow up to what you were gonna say.
Yeah.
Stop talking and go. What independent laboratory? Do you think that's gonna happen?
But that's the way that this, because no matter what's going on here, I mean, what's going to stop the FDA from taking the results in that you got from a lab tested and go, well, we don't recognize that lab as being, one of the ones that we accept.
True.
So
yes, both sides have to say, okay, here are your options, and have options for the labs, not just say this is the only one you can go to and that's it. But and not the vape side say, well, this is the only one I'm going to use, and then turn around the FDA goes, well, tough shit. So it's got to be out there. This is the lab these are the labs that we're gonna be okay with. If it's tested through here, we're not going to say go back and retest it. I agree with that. This is how both sides work with it. So T21, that I think that we've got to fix online sales.
Yeah.
We know that has to be done. I believe that every single sale needs to have an ID on the sale. And then there is no reason that they can't have ID on delivery.
No. There are lots of things like that I'd be willing to do. But the FDA, when do we get to be upset with them for not setting out a set of rules on 8, 9 that you had to comply with to be an accepted product?
Well,
Okay. When did that set of rules come out?
I'm
Like
gonna
6 months ago, maybe?
Yeah, I'm gonna step in and in a way kind of defend them not having it right on 8/8/16 because here's the
I said
thing.
8/9. I gave them an extra day.
Because here's
It's more
the
time
thing.
than they gave Massachusetts shops to shut down.
Oh.
Right, but here's the thing, and I will defend them a little bit because they knew come January 20th there was going to be a new administration.
Mhm.
They knew things would be changed. Because we all knew, because 8/8/16, you got to remember that was an election year.
Yeah, I don't care.
And because of that
It
being
doesn't
an
matter.
election year, they rarely, they pushed that through when they did because they knew that was going to be the last big hurrah of the Obama administration. But they knew any steps they took was going to be looked at again, and they didn't want to throw out, okay, we're going to do all this. This is your guidance. And then a year later, everything switched around, which is what happened when
What does the
Gottlieb
FDA
stepped
have
in.
to do with the political election?
Because the FDA commissioner is appointed
by
the
the
president.
and serves
So
at the
they knew it was
leisure of the
going to
president.
change. That was
That's
the whole
fucked up.
thing.
That should not be like that.
Oh, so you'd
Then
rather
that
have
person appointed. Then that person appointed has to fall in line with whoever appoints them.
Correct.
Yeah.
No. Wrong. A new appointed FDA director cannot make any new rules or changes that haven't already been started into effect or are in effect for 1 year of his appointment. That is why Gottlieb couldn't do anything. Didn't know that, did you?
How can that be? So they didn't approve any new drugs in that period of time either?
They were already in the works.
Okay, I understand that part of it. But you're saying from the time that Gottlieb was put on to the time a year later that they didn't approve anything new in that period of time. They didn't accept any new applications for anything. They didn't accept anything.
They can accept, they just can't change the rules.
They can't change any rules.
And that's why, if you remember, because 2018 is when everything got bumped. He started bumping everything when it was last minute because of that year period.
But when he bumped that, why did they not release the regulations at that point?
Because they were working on getting all the... See, that's the problem. I will admit, that's the problem with us having the 4-year presidential system. With us having a 4-year presidential system, you've got all these rules set in for these different organizations under the administration. So 2017 is when that's why when the president started appointing people in 2017, they should have, Gottlieb got in there fast. I'll be honest.
Yeah,
he got in there fast, which was rare. So he was able to make moves before the 2018 deadlines.
So if Trump hadn't appointed him and kept the old guy, he still would have been able to continue on with what he was doing?
Yes.
Yeah, because it was not a change in individuals.
Okay.
Now,
a year seems like a long time in this day and age.
Well, and what people don't see, this is the problem. It makes me so irritated. People do not understand how our government works. It makes me so mad.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me so irritated.
I think it's because we feel like the government doesn't work.
It doesn't.
That's why
if
we don't understand.
No, the government doesn't work because people now really do not know how it works. That's what's going on. If you don't know how it works, it doesn't work. So the problem is that we are not, people, get this through your frickin' skulls. We are not a democracy. We are a constitutional republic.
Or, case can be made for both, or a constitutional democracy.
Yes.
It can be
don't confuse.
I know. I'm just saying.
People, be very basic.
But a lot of people say no. We're a constitutional democracy. That's why I was saying argument can be made for both.
I know, but don't do that. On this country is a constitutional republic. That's why we have three branches of government, because then one can't overpower the other. There are three to balance it out. It's just people don't get it, and then behind that there are rules to govern it. Like yes, democracy is different. Majority rules, so mob rule on democracy. We don't have mob rule. Um, no, the
That's interesting.
FDA is not is not a constitutional. None of these ABCs, one, two, threes are constitutional. They really are not. What it is that the only branch of government that should be making laws is Congress.
Yes.
So that is why all these things that come out of the FDA are called rules, but they might as well be called
Laws.
laws, because they have the consequences of punishment. So when all this is going on, if you think really hard about it, they've done this with the gun issue, and it's relating to the bump fire stock and the ATF. The ATF been sued because they made a rule that the bump fire stock altered the AK, or the mechanism of the gun, making it automatic. It doesn't. What it did is just made it so that it shot faster. Nothing else. Didn't change anything else about the gun. So they sued, and the ATF actually came out and said, "You are right. We are not allowed to make laws. Only Congress can." Now, that should switch right over, and I sent this to Greg Conley. Do you know what he said to me? It's not going to work. They can't make laws. They can't make laws. They can't make laws. Yes, Trigger, they did. That was last week or the week before. Yes. So, if we followed our Constitution that we have in place, Governor Cuomo, the people there should be in an uproar with what's going on. The problem is that all this time we have not been properly educating people about vaping. We really haven't. And because of that, I mean, I heard in something that somebody went into a hospital, said they had been vaping, and the nurse said, "You need to stop that. I'd rather see you smoke. You're not going to die from that."
Yeah. Yeah. I've actually heard that several times.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And I'm like, great.
And you know what I'd tell that nurse if they told me that? I'd be like,
get me another one.
are you looking at the science?
No. And see, that's what kills me. Science is universal, folks. If it's done here, if it's done in Zimbabwe.
But how often is science used to make laws? Like the cannabis industry has been fighting that for 50 years.
Oh, yeah.
Of trying to show people the science and say what you guys are doing is absolutely wrong. It's not even close to what you think this is, And then you have presidents like Reagan, which I grew up in the Reagan era, and it was a wonderful time to grow up. But when you put gas masks on monkeys and pump 20 joints into there, you're not testing whether marijuana kills brain cells. You're testing whether suffocation kills brain cells. That's a completely different thing. But it took them almost 20 years to get the way that those tests were done to be released to the public, so we knew what the hell they were talking about.
And it's
all you got were headlines that marijuana kills brain cells. It's like, no, it doesn't.
No. The other thing that, people aren't getting, this really, people, is a hostile takeover. It really is. Once they decimate the open, e-liquid vaping industry, you've got Bloomberg. I don't know if you guys heard this. Bloomberg
came out with a
pharmaceutical. So that's going to be on the market. It's been approved by the FDA. You've got the IQOS system. They've already are ready to launch theirs. That's by RJ Reynolds. You've got Altera. Altera's CIO has stepped down. RJ Reynolds' CEO is taking over. this all boils down to big tobacco and money.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? That's a lot of money to fight. That's a lot to fight. It really is.
So why even try?
Because
Because
I'm
we have
saving
to.
my life. And
No, and I
what do I
yes,
have to
no, I'm
do?
in agreement with
Oh
that. But
yeah.
that's kind of that standing question there. Is if
That's a
if big tobacco is unbeatable, then why even spend all this time talking about it?
yeah, that's a realistic question.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And the only thing I can ever tell people is because we have to. I mean, if we don't fight, and see, that's what I came to about earlier when people were like, well, why aren't you supporting these advocacy organizations? They're out there fighting for you. I'm like, I don't want them fighting for me. I want to fight for myself.
It's not that I don't want them fighting for me. That has nothing to do with it. It's just there's so many advocacy groups. It
We're
doesn't
spreading
work.
ourselves too thin. That's what it is.
And they're all fighting with one another.
Yeah. Oh God, we started with
And,
that.
and then they all want all or nothing. And I'm sitting there going, we cannot be all or nothing. I think this march on DC is great, but unless they get millions of people, it's going to look stupid.
Yeah, we talked about that last week.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm going to be blunt with you.
And
I told someone this week, because we were talking about, somebody had sent me an invite to the group that's running the march. And I know one of the people, one of the people that's the admin of it. I sent her a Facebook and I'm like, look, I understand what you're doing. I just cannot support it because of what you're saying. Because you are fighting as an all or nothing scenario for one.
You're too militant.
And we cannot fight at a all or nothing scenario.
we have
to be
to make
willing.
compromises.
And then they were like, well, and I said, the thing is, if you don't have a good 10,000 at least,
At least.
it is going to look terrible the way you're doing it. Because they're doing it starting at the White House, then going to move it to the Capitol. And I'm like, you're going to be outside. When you are in an, and this is the political side of me coming out because, I've been trained in this crap.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are always like, well, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, I've ran national campaigns in my state. So don't tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. When you are doing a rally, you need to always set up that rally to where if you're expecting 500 people, have it in an area that you really would only have room for 300 people. You want to fill up that place. When you're having an outdoor rally, 10,000 people looks like 500. When you have 500, it looks like 100.
Yeah,
it just
it's
looks
like,
terrible if you don't have the numbers.
Yeah, and the other thing is when people say, "Oh yeah, I'm coming," and you have 1,000 people committed, you get 1% of that. You really, truly do. And this is what amazes me. How many years have we been? I mean, since before August 8th of 2016, I know I've been advocating. I think I started vaping December 3rd, 2013. Most of 14, I was playing with it. By the end of 15, I was starting my advocacy aspect of things. And so this is my third year of advocacy, and nobody was talking about it. Even these big reviewers, there were not many. I could probably count them on one hand.
No, you're absolutely right. That's why I started my channel.
Yeah, I could count them on one hand, and I had been talking about it. I've been going to rallies. I have been working here in Oregon. I'm working across the nation. I've been getting in touch with different, people like David Gorelitz, working with, not blowing smoke, but CSA, and what was the first movie that Aaron did? A Billion Lives, things like that, and organizations because
you watch that.
That
drives me insane. There's so many.
It was preaching to the choir.
there's so many people that, yeah, right, but that are vapors and claim they care who haven't even, oh no, I haven't watched it yet.
It's been around for how long?
I know.
Oh.
I'm like, what are you talking? Like, hey,
Christine.
how about we start there?
Okay, Christine, do you want to know the most ludicrous thing of all of this? We have David Gorlitz.
Mhm.
David Gorlitz in the 80s took R.J. Reynolds from the bottom, the 5th spot in cigarettes, to number 2.
Oh,
Number
David's
2.
a friend of mine. I know. I talked to
Oh,
him.
you know, you and I are best. I mean, I work with him.
Yeah.
David, 2nd spot. Knew the board members. Talked to board members. Tell me one advocacy group right now that utilizes him.
None
Tell
of
me.
them. And that's what's sad. I mean, people are like, well, we need a spokesman. We need a spokesman. We need someone that has. And I'm like, we've had a spokesman that nobody wants to use.
Right.
Because he's blunt. You know, he's like you. He's like me. He
He's
is
not a
blunt
snowflake.
to the point, and he
Not
just
a
tells it
snowflake.
like it is.
Yep.
And that's why I love when we get the chance to get him on here, because he is so blunt. It is crazy.
But why
And
should it just only be vapors showing up at these things? You know, there are a lot of other people that have been affected by this whose parents have stopped smoking or, you know, whatever. This shouldn't just be vapors that show up at these things. Because I'm telling you, this is just the first domino to fall for a lot of other stuff. I mean, believe it or not, peanut butter kills more people every year than vaping.
If I was going to New York, my son would go with me.
Yeah.
You know, my son would go with me. My son knows more and talks more eloquently, and, you know, and it's not by me. You know what I mean? I'm not feeding him what to say. He just listens. He listens when I'm on these shows. He listens when, you know, he doesn't watch them, but he catches pieces here and there. And he's like, Mom, this doesn't make any sense, blah, 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 blah. But like, if I was going to DC because I thought it was going to be run correctly, my son would be right next to me. I want those shirts that say, you know, I want my son to have, you know, 1 million of those shirts that say, you know, my mom smoked for blah, 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 whatever, and send him off to school in those. And he would wear them. But the problem is they won't let him. You know,
so Jen,
they'd send him home to change.
Jen, before you leave, what's the end game here? What do you see as far as in 6 months? Where does this all come up? Where are we going to head? Where are we headed here?
She should be right back. She's probably ran somewhere real quick.
That's
I
fine.
mean, the thing is, I wish, because I don't know if you've noticed on my Twitter and on my Instagram, I posted both pictures. I've only seen 2 pictures of those. My mom smoked for X amount with the kids holding the signs.
I think one of them is Danielle Jones's daughter.
Those should have went viral, and they didn't. You know?
Yeah, well, because first of all, there was only 2 pictures, and second of all, you know what I mean? It's like more than that, more than the signs and social media. I want my son wearing that as a billboard. Just like Anthony said, we should all be wearing our vaping shirts. You know, I vape, I vote shirts. I have a hoodie. You didn't vape hoodie. It says I vape, I vote. You know what I mean? Like, I want that on my kid. I want those shirts on my kid so it could be a billboard.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Not just over social media, because people need to go, you know, he's educated enough to even talk to adults and give them at least the basic facts of why this is, you know, a safer alternative. And if a kid is saying this and an adult doesn't understand, well, there's a problem with that adult.
Yeah. Now,
You know?
Jen,
I'm just hoping using kids doesn't backfire on us.
Did you hear what Anthony asked you when you were gone?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, what?
He was just asking what's the end game, basically.
Yeah, in 6 months, you know, where are we? What's the end game to all this from your perspective?
If the president doesn't step in, I think the entire community will be decimated. He's the only one that can do anything at this point.
Now, I know Jay is watching. How many people did we actually get at that New Jersey hearing? Because I know they had to have an overfill room. I know we had that many that they had to do an overfill room. But how many people did we actually get there? I'm curious because
Is Jay?
I know Jay was taking it serious. He was wearing a button-up shirt.
I know.
Uh-huh.
I was like, wow, Jay.
He
I
looked
didn't
good.
even see that. I didn't see that one. I need to watch it. I didn't have time to.
I saw a friend who was doing mobile as he was waiting outside to go in. Yeah, he was wearing a suit. Jay was wearing a suit. But
Yeah,
you know what?
he looks hot.
You guys think this stuff doesn't matter?
It
does.
It does.
If Jay-
And see, that's the other thing.
If he
I
can
agree.
wear a suit, okay, we all
20
should.
people.
Don't
Excellent.
show up in your cut off cargo pants and whatever.
T-shirts.
Go to and t-shirts and whatever and repping whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? We don't care what company you rep. We don't.
No.
Yeah,
That's not the point.
not the way to do
Real
it.
quick, Jay, if you want to hop on and talk
I was gonna
about
say
that
that.
day, Jen and I think too much alike. If
Yeah.
you want to hop on and talk about the day when everybody was talking, let me know.
128 people.
And
That's a
I'll
little
send you
sad.
the link on Facebook. Jen or I will.
That would
Yeah.
be
That's a
awesome.
little sad.
Because you know what, Christine?
I'll send it right now.
Okay, because you know what, Christine, that's the one thing too. A lot of these other, and I'm not saying Kassan in those, but some of these other ones that are starting to pop up, or the people that are going to these and the people that are speaking, the foul mouth is not going to work. The berating parents and the pave and
I'll be
all
right back.
those, we have to educate these people. They're uneducated. Some of them we will never ever get through, but getting in their face, being belligerent, and being angry and pissed and all that won't win. We have to give them facts.
No, because
That's
all
why,
you do is put up a wall.
yeah,
At that
if
point.
you don't,
What would
and
you
you know,
even in the LA one, I saw a stream, and I don't remember what. Oh, I remember what company it is, but I'm not going to call them out. You know, these people were yelling at the children who were. You know, don't be yelling at the children. Those children are being brainwashed. Those children
right.
are being used by that organization. Okay, you look like an idiot when you're yelling at the children who are being used and brainwashed for their own narrative. Like, you know, now you're just
Right.
back.
Well, and honestly, if I see kid vaping, you can't go up and take it. That would you shouldn't. But I'd be going, what's your mom and dad's name? Because what are you doing? Hey Jay, how are you doing, sweetheart?
What's going on? How's everybody doing?
Hey, Jay.
Trying to keep my sanity.
I'm trying to keep my hair so I don't look like you.
Yeah, too late for me.
Mine's a good look. Mine's
No,
a
it
good
looks
look.
good on you. It wouldn't look that good on me. So
No,
Yeah.
me neither. So, what are your feelings in New Jersey there, dear?
Well, I like to think that since the CDC launched that thing at 1 p.m. yesterday, announcing the THC being the problem and not so much vaping, and to also encourage people that were smoking cigarettes to now not stop vaping like they had originally asked people to do. I like to think that that's a good thing. However, I feel that a lot of the damage has been done already of what they've said. So no matter, my argument is really sound, and I tag Government Murphy on this, is if you're going to use the argument originally that, we're quoting the CDC to everybody stop vaping, you were all quick to go to CDC. So now that CDC had redacted that essentially and put something new in, are you still going to quote CDC? Because if you are, if you don't, you'd be hypocritical, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're saying that these are the people that are responsible for checking out the health of the public health, then again, you have to go back and quote that. And I think that that's instrumental. I also think the problem, though, as much as I would like to say it is THC, it's all these issues, I don't want to downplay the ideology of people saying that, their kids are vaping or whatever, the teen epidemic. That's fine, whatever. Well, it's not fine, but you're putting us in that bracket together with THC. And that's hence why we've launched all these bans of certain products, and like Massachusetts, just an all-out ban because you don't understand. So if a governor was to come out with that now, saying that we're going to ban everything, I feel like they would look really, for lack of better terms, retarded, because the CDC just announced that it's not so much anything to do with Juul. What I think we're in a really bad state right now, and I think it's going to continually get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. I like to think that eventually it will all go away. I don't think that New Jersey is going to do the all-out ban that they had originally spoke about. I feel like they're going to do a flavor ban, if anything, but it's a little too early to tell. We have to wait to hear what the report is from the public health that we had last Tuesday.
I'm wondering if they're going to switch from the CDC to the AMA, because I was on NPR the other day and heard the president of the AMA just tell people to stop vaping completely.
Yeah.
Probably because they're losing their biggest voice, which was the CDC.
They're just going to keep switching to organizations that suit their narrative.
Yeah.
And Jay, I'd asked Jen this, and I'm really curious to hear what your opinion is. What's 6 months out? Like, what's the end game to this? What are we really going to see?
The end game?
End game.
Game.
Oh, like, game. I thought you said the game. I was saying game. There's no game.
Yeah.
No, there's no game.
End game. Okay, so here's the way that I predict it. I'm pretty damn accurate in this, just like I was with the Juul pods. If crazy part is I'll answer the question. I just want to say something. But when I originally started doing reviews on pods, I made comments a year and a half ago. Okay. Further back than that, 2 years ago, I think was the first pod that I did a review on. I said, you have to be careful because as many people are going to use these because they're easier to use, this will also be our demise, like vaping as a whole. And here we are, and that is what our demise is. It doesn't matter really what got us to where we are because it doesn't fix anything. It's just us having conspiracy hats on and saying, oh, Juul's a problem, Juul's a problem. Yeah, I agree. Great. But that doesn't do anything for us now.
Yeah.
But as far as end game is concerned, I feel what's going to happen is all these states are going to continue with their flavor bans, their product bans. And then I think that there's going to be even more research and more studies that prove that vaping, okay, this is for YouTube if YouTube watches this. I'm not stating that there's a health benefit of vaping. I'm just putting that as a disclaimer. That's for YouTube, not for this channel. I feel that they're going to find that vaping is 99% safer, if at anything, not harmless at all. And then they're going to publish that, and then that will cause a trickling effect of bans being lifted and then it coming back on the market just in a regulated fashion. I don't know about 6 months. I'd say probably a year to 18 months out. It's just a matter of how many stores will have to stay open and endure their bans, if they can even endure it, and then open back up. I truly believe I have x-rays of my chest, and I could show you my chest x-rays and show you that my chest has cleared up dramatically from when I smoke cigarettes. But I don't think it's just one. I think if we had 1,000 people all submit our chest x-rays to the governor's office, that would make a pretty damn good point.
I said that years ago. I said, why are we not all, you know what I mean? I've sent mine to my Congress people. My medical records and all that other stuff. Like, listen, they're my medical records. If I want to send them, I have the right to send them.
Well, it keeps going back to that same point of united we stand. And that's the biggest concern I've had with them having these hearings over all of these states in a matter of like a week. It doesn't give anybody time to put a group of people together or for people to come from other states to kind of support those things because they're worried about what's going on in their state. I mean, Massachusetts, New Jersey, all of these states all had these hearings. LA, all
New Jersey had
really close.
I don't agree with that at all, Anthony. I have to disagree 100% because New Jersey I had 2,800 people from New Jersey watch that video up till 2 days before of the actual public hearing. 2,800 people in New Jersey watched that video. There was 128 people there.
Yeah, why was that? I mean, what was the reason?
Because people
you
don't
think?
give a shit.
They give a
That's why. They don't give a shit.
because they
There's
have to
somebody
work.
else that's
They
going to
have
do
to
the
work.
job for me.
Yeah.
That's what the problem is.
Yep. They
Okay.
gotta work. Oh, they don't
So
have
how do we
to
change
work.
that mindset?
You can't change that mindset, Anthony.
Because
You can't.
everybody is, I hate to say it this way, but it's the truth. The community on a whole is lazy and wants everybody else to do everything for them.
Why do you hate to say it? It's the truth.
Yeah, I hate to say it because I know it's the truth, and I hate to say it, but.
But Jay, I know you've probably got more things to do than spend 2 hours every day online trying to educate. Why do you keep doing that if no one will, stand behind you and be a part of these things?
It's a good question. Well, I spend more than 2 hours online. I'd say just in a live, I'd spend 2 hours, but
Well, that's what I was talking about.
yeah, no, I know what you mean. Like on YouTube, wasting my breath about talking about it. Really, to educate people about the news, contrary to popular belief and even Robert's belief, I was always for advocacy. I just never advised people to be for advocacy. I'm all for, I take the approach of you do whatever you want to do with your life. If you don't want to support something, great. If you do, fantastic, but don't push your beliefs on other people. Right? It's that simple. Like whether that's religion, whether that's money, whether that's what you eat,
Well,
what drugs you put in your arm.
I never
You always said
you
that
were,
you would like to see me do more than what I do for advocacy.
Right.
But
I never
I've
said you were
always
against
have.
advocacy.
I'm against advocacy groups. That's what I'm against. I'm for people advocating for themselves, doing something other than relying on other people to do the shit. Because that's what we've done where we're at now. And I'm not saying that advocacy groups haven't done anything. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that you rely on a group to do something to speak for you. How about you speak for you?
Yourself.
Get a set of balls or pussy lips or whatever you have and stand up and fucking grab them and do it. Don't say, oh, he's going to do it for me.
What did I just say too? I mean, we're on the same page.
You gotta stand up and do something.
Exactly.
And if you don't stand up and do something, don't be upset at the outcome being against what you wanted. It's the same thing with voting, politics. Don't complain about, oh, this guy's a president if you didn't vote. If you didn't vote for either, then shut up. Like, just shut up.
I totally agree with that.
You're just a person complaining.
And this reminds me exactly what he's saying, okay? Because we've lumped it and called it advocacy, but David Gerlitz for how long has been saying it's not advocacy. Advocacy is doing something for somebody who can't do it. We're activists.
I can see if you can't do it, right? I can see that argument.
Well, if you
can't, I could see that argument.
But
but there was more than 128 people that could have went to that, though.
Absolutely.
I did not expect that number to be that low. I thought it was going to be like 1,000.
That was still better than I expected. I'll be honest with you.
128 was better than you expected?
Yes.
Oh, man. Wow.
Well, with the reach that I have and all the hazers that called all the shops, considering that there's 260 vape shops in New Jersey and only 128 showed up, a lot of which that were out of state, that's pretty pathetic.
Yeah, not even one person from each vape shop even went. That's
because people don't.
There's
only one thing that most business owners care about. In all honesty, the almighty dollar.
God, I've spent more money trying to spread the word than I've made off this deal.
So have I.
I mean, look at me.
Wow.
I don't make anything now. But even when I owned my business, I wasn't making hardly anything off the industry. Look how much I've spent on this freaking advocacy doing this channel. I mean...
Yeah, and I know there are people that understand that, like Jay, when you're doing this every day and, you're getting up at 5 a.m. so that you can do a show and have it ready to go for people. And then, you just see that kind of turnout. I mean, that's got to be disheartening. And that's the thing. It's like I go through those days where I am just like, just come on, please help.
Let me comment on that, Anthony. You have to realize, and I'm not trying to get emotional. I'm not trying to debate you, but you have to realize ever since day one of me doing reviews, I've always had naysayers. I've always had people negative trying to bring me down to not be where I am today. But it's the people like that fuel me. It's the people that don't want to show up to this that fuel me, that make me make a stand and show up in a suit to one up you, So if I'm wrong, one up me. Prove me wrong. You show up too. Show up there with 48 people. Now you make me look like shit. I have no problem with that. But I just know that it's so. I've always had people saying, "Why do you waste this? Why do you do that?" It's because it's the negativity that has always made me strive to become better and do more.
Oh yeah.
Good.
It's not people patting me on the back saying good job. I don't need that. I know it's a good job because I have people following me from all over the world. I don't need a public thank you. But for someone like you that you said you started a channel to spread advocacy, you sir you're wasting your time. That's what it is. I know that sounds shitty me saying that to you, but
No.
you said to yourself is how far you've spent more money than what you've made. And you probably haven't achieved anything of what you thought you would achieve.
No, because the whole
That's
reason
not
I
me
started the
being
channel
negative.
was no, and I get that 100% because the whole reason I started the channel was not to compete with reviewers. There was a lot of that
Sure.
out there, and I
Sure.
didn't see a need for that. But every day I saw a new ban or a new law or something that I couldn't find anywhere, and I thought, well, maybe these people just don't have a place where they can get this information. Let me be that guy. I don't care about. We really didn't advertise for the company at the beginning. It was all about news. And I tried to keep it lighthearted so people could laugh a little bit with it, but see the seriousness in it. And it just became this thing where I was like, why are does nobody really care about this? And I think the icing on the cake for me was NVE. I mean, you and I both know that from New York. We were 3 months away from a complete flavor ban in New York, and nobody showed up for advocacy. And that was the whole reason I went.
Cared.
I spent thousands of dollars to give shirts away.
Nobody
And still nobody even wanted it. And now they're all up in arms about this flavor ban. I'm like, where were you guys 3 months? And not an I told you so thing. That's not at all what I was trying to get across with that. And that's why I feel like that's how it'll sound. But it's like, guys, we just wanted you to be a part of this, to show the numbers of people that actually vape. You don't have to do anything, just show up. You don't have to talk. You don't have to do. You could just quietly sit over there and vape the whole time. I really don't care, but the numbers is what's going to put it.
Well,
when you see numbers like from the Vietnam thing where they're all those thousands upon thousands of people that were against that shows something. But you see 128 people show up for something, it's like getting a stoplight put in your neighborhood. I mean, that's the kind of numbers you expect for something like that.
Now,
not for something that's killing thousands of people.
Now, see, here's the thing. What I've seen when it comes to expos, we've had that issue for years. Christina will probably even back this because I know she's been at a lot of expos. We have tried to push and push and push at expos to just stop sales altogether, stop everything during the advocacy bits. The only one that does that is Vapors Carnival. They will stop everything. But it is like pulling teeth. It has been like this since 2015, since VCC. I remember VCCPA both times that I went. It was like pulling teeth to have anyone there paying attention to advocacy. But for lack of a better way to say it, Team Free Shit, the second somebody got up there and started saying free shit, boom, everybody started heading straight to the front. They were slinging glass bottles,
That's why I said when you're like, oh, who do you blame? I mean, at this point, it doesn't really matter who you blame. I'll blame, but I blame, I feel sorry for all the vape shops, the mom and pops and everything like that. It's horrible because our industry as a whole, the manufacturers, all that other stuff, they don't care. They just care about this. That's all they care about. And so it doesn't matter. And that's when people are like, oh, are you still doing very vocal vapors? If you want to tell your story, sure. But you know what? This is a woman who lives on disability with $12,000 in debt. And who gives a fuck, right? Nobody cares. Nobody cares. And it's not like I'm saying, oh, feel sorry for me. I'm not. But what Jay was saying is like, it started out as a good intention. And I thought I was going to do something great with it. And the reality was, like he said, nobody really cared.
Yeah.
So
all it did was put me $12,000 in debt.
Jay, is there anything else you could recommend for the average person that's watching or even us that we need to be doing that we're not? Like, I just want to make sure I'm not missing something that I should be doing.
Well, as a business owner, no. As I mean, obviously, everything that I've said, but going back to what she was just saying, what Christine was just saying is, even with all the shit that's happening right now, you have people that live in the respective state to where they're banning flavors, and some of these people are still buying from other sites when you should be going right down the road and supporting that brick and mortar because those are the same people that supported you.
Yep.
And that's shitty for the vape business owners. Look, as a brick and mortar, I feel bad for every shop, specifically Massachusetts. Not saying that I don't feel bad for New York or Michigan or, all the other states that have implemented some type of ban or towns, but a lot of these brick and mortars don't have an online presence. So when it's time for them to close their doors, they have no way of getting rid of whatever they had that was overhead.
Yeah.
Someone like me, that's not a problem. I can literally unload my shop in one stream. But that's not that doesn't help out all the people that helped you get where you are today.
That's probably an unusual situation. Yeah.
The best recommendation I could give for a shop is, if you're not doing anything, do something.
Yeah.
I said this in the live yesterday, that get up, get off your ass and write a letter. And then if you don't hear a response, write another letter. And then if you don't hear another response, you write another letter. Just keep doing it. I mean, how much do you love vaping? If you don't mind vaping going away, so you smoke cigarettes again, I don't have an answer for that. I don't. There's a lot of selfish people out there. There's a lot.
What did New Jersey finally decide? What's the where are you guys at right now? Okay.
Nothing. We're waiting.
That's what I thought.
We're at a point where October 3rd there's the deadline to give the recommendation to what the governor does, and I'm assuming either before that or on October 3rd or after, depending, whenever they give it to him, he'll make a press conference and then announce what he's going to do. And then at that point, if he gives a deadline of, say, it's 5 days, or if he says you must close your shops now, well, then as of the close of the business of that day, then I'll unload everything. But again, that doesn't help out everybody else's situation. It only helps out mine. And as much as people like to think that it's all about me, it's not.
No.
This is whatever.
And I don't think anybody that's on here did this for personal gain.
No.
And that just wasn't the case.
Right.
I mean, mine was because of the same reason yours, Anthony. Because I started around 2015, and I saw how only basically Grim and Matt and Ruby talked about any advocacy whatsoever. And there was nobody approaching it from the political side. So that's why I stepped in and started the channel. I mean, Jay, I'm sure you remember Billy. Heathen.
Yeah.
Okay. Heathen. I don't know if you remember Hank Vapes. I don't know if you were around then. No. And Robbie Vapes. They were the three that really pushed me to start the channel. Because they were like, look, you've got so many ideas when it comes to the political side. You need to just start a channel. And that was during the big boom of reviewers. That was when we still had, oh my goodness. That was when there was an average of 50 reviewers out there that were just starting.
Yeah. So before we get too far into this, I do want to say, Jay, I am a hazer. I 100% support what you do.
I know you are, brother.
Watch your stuff all the time. I'm never against you, in any way, shape, or form. Obviously we're going to disagree on things from time to time, but that's just being human. But please don't stop. If I'm the only guy that encourages you today, let me be that guy. I know I won't be the only one, but I think that's one of the things is we have to kind of keep each other encouraged.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can see on the looks on the faces. I was talking about earlier about watching Grim talk about an amber juice yesterday. And man, you could just tell he was distraught. I mean, you could just tell on his face. And the worst thing that YouTube could have done, they did, and they monetized that video. They actually played ads right before it, and I just thought,
and
that was bad. That was miserable.
Too. Yeah. I mean, I remember Shane. Shane's been around this community for years. Shane and I have had run-ins about differences, But see, and Jay, you and I, we've think of how when we first got to know each other, we were at our throats with each other about a lot of things.
Well,
Now, I've told you before, I respect you even more because you did start seeing more on the advocate side and activist side, and I'm loving that about you because you're one of the few big reviewers that got the hint before it actually hit them.
I think I see a lot of it too because I own a business,
Yeah.
so I'm very much, and plus I have people messaging me every day about laws that are passing or that are going to be passing. So I obviously speak on that if it affects other people.
And I think that's probably why you and I are alike, because being involved, directly with shops and, running shops and things like that, we see this from a different perspective than most. I mean, you could be out there and fighting, but it's not actually affecting your livelihood.
Oh, yeah.
It isn't quite as important to you. But for people like us, I mean, not only have I seen a drop in sales, which is just crazy to me, but I think it has a lot to do with that fear that's out there. I mean, I've seen some of my shops do 50% less than they were doing this time last year. And you get those people that come in that are still asking questions about, is this going to really kill me? And it's surprising to me that that's the case. And it makes me nervous.
See, I haven't seen any effect on people that already vape. I've seen an effect on new users. So returning users, I don't see a problem with. I mean, it's really been slowed down the past 7 months for new users, but as far as like returning customers, no. But plus, you have to realize I do a lot of online, so
yeah,
it's whatever I miss in sales in store, I make up for online.
Yeah, and our shops are really just dedicated to getting people to make the switch. I mean, that's been our whole thing forever. That's even on our door. It's like, we want you guys to make that switch, and we teach our employees. Sometimes you got to spend 2 hours with somebody. Teach them how vaping works and find that right device for them and find that flavor. And it takes time to do that. And you're right. I'm seeing a real decrease in the number of switchers that I saw this time last year.
Now, on something that Trigger's asking, I want to hear everybody else's. What was the first all-day vape that completely got you off cigarettes? Mine was personally a blend between Cutwood's Unicorn Milk and Smiley E-Liquid's Drama Queen. What was everybody else's?
Mine was Unicorn Milk.
Mine was, I would say it's probably a mix between the house blended blueberry pancake that we have and Squeezy Super Good, which are both really fruity flavors.
No one that we can use.
How about you, Jay?
That's what I was hoping for.
You're asking me what flavor?
Your very first all-day vape that got you completely off cigarettes?
A Squape RTA with an EVIC.
But what was the flavor?
The flavor was Dorky Patty by Good Life Vapor. That is no longer a thing, which is like a peppermint patty.
Okay. Something tells me you'd like that Stramok cookie from Sad Boy.
Oh, I don't like any Sad Boy liquids.
No?
You know what the funny thing is? You hear one tobacco in this?
No. I was thinking that when you said that too.
Oh, like we all know that, and it's just, it's sad. It's like I've stopped watching a lot of these live shows because the trolling drives me insane. You know what I mean? Because I'm the first person to admit, when I first started watching Jay, I hated him. I thought he was such an asshole. I couldn't stand him, right? And then once I got to know him in person, it's like, oh, guess what? He's a fucking person. He's got a heart. He fucking cares. Like, oh, okay.
He's the nicest guy in person. Totally is.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm not. I was just talking to a guy like when I was in your guys' chat, and then a couple customers walked in, and the guy drove literally. A guy drove all the. What's that, Bray? 14 hours just to see me. Literally 14 hours, and I was like, "You drove all the way here just to see me?" He's like, "Yeah, you're my idol." and big black burly dude. And then we were talking about racism and everything, and whether it's white racism or black racism, we were talking about everything. But and he knew that he could talk to me about that because I am literally, first off, I fight for the underdog. That's number one. No matter what it is, I'm always an underdog better. Like, that's just the way that I am. And I'm a very compassionate person. Whether people see that or not, they see it like I'm money hungry or I'm this. And they just don't know me.
Yeah.
And anybody that meets me and sees me outside of this, you'll see that who I am in the chats is who I am in real life.
Yeah.
It's just harder to gauge and read when you're watching someone online. Like, wow, this guy's a cocky asshole. No, if we're talking, you say your piece, I'll say my piece. You say your piece, I'll say respect. It's what it is. When you're in my chat, there's no respect.
I feel like when you're reading chat, it lights your fuse. Like I watch you read sometimes, you can just see your face go raw. You know, you just
And
like
see,
somebody just lit that fuse, and you're like, okay.
Some internet, there's these internet tough guys, which is why, like she was saying, she can't stand trolling. That's why I enabled my chat for members only. You have to pay to chat. How many people are going to pay to troll? Nobody. Nobody's going to pay to troll. Like, that's so stupid. And if you do, guess what? I win. Like, I win. You're no longer a troll anymore. You're a guy giving me money to talk shit. And look, I get it that there's people that are pissed off because they don't have money, and I understand that. I was there. But I can't neglect the people that are paying to chat. And I've been following you for 5 years, and it sucks that I have to pay to unlock the chat to type. Well, then just watch it. When you listen to a radio station or you watch a movie, do you chat while that movie's going? No, you don't.
I don't have the money to pay.
Right. So just
I
sit there and
and I don't anymore. So you know what? I just watch him. I don't.
That's it.
Exactly.
There's a lot of chats, like there's a lot of lives that exist on YouTube where it's a live, but they disable the chat. So you can't even chat if you wanted to.
Right.
So I'm at least giving you that option to talk. That's it. Right. And then I'll interact with the people. And I get it that people don't like it. Then I don't know what to tell you, man. But don't watch it.
And just because you're not supporting an advocacy group like CASA or whatever, and like myself, I don't give a lot of money to CASA, but I give a lot of money to guys like you, Grim, other people, because you're the guys getting that news out there so much quicker. Like I got on CASA's website even a couple of days ago, and their call to action, like the last one, that was like 4 or 5 days old. And I'm like, man, like there's so many things that have happened in that period of time. And not that I'm against CASA, because I'm not, but they can only do so much with the limited resources they have. I'd rather support somebody who's willing to spend their time every day putting this stuff out. They need that money to be able to do what they do. And for me, that's where I think the money is best spent.
And see, that's why I've gotten to the point, I look at their heads up before I look at anything else, because their calls to action are lacking, but their heads up are actually decent. So if you look at their actual heads up, it'll be a lot better. Give me a second.
What? Andrew.
I just turned off the...
These are some funny comments. Jay's chat reminds me of an Andrew Dice Clay performance. I love it. You are kind of Andrew Dice Clay-ish.
Yeah, I mean, he was a little more raunchy. He's more raunchy. I'm more just speak, and
well, you got to keep your platform, so
Yeah.
He's just blunt, like all of us. He's to the point. He's just blunt.
Let me put it like this. There was a video that, because I just launched another channel, me and Bree, because a lot of people want to see Bree. I don't know if you guys know, whatever. But the video I put out is extremely controversial. But it's two different perspectives. It's my perspective and it's Bree's as a woman. Some people are mentioning feminism in it, like we counter the feminism argument. But it's extremely controversial, and it is what it is. I'm going to speak my mind. If you want to listen to it, then listen. If not, and then let me put it to you like this. If you disagree with my comment, don't think. It's just like a heckler in a comedy club, right? I'm going to come back at you. I'm not going to just let you sit idly by. I'll come back at you, then I'll kick you out. So now I got the last word in. Now you're gone.
I do like that. And I'm one of those guys that likes to see Bree.
Yeah, do you know about the other channel then, right?
No, I didn't know about the other, but I'm going to get on there as soon as we get off of here. Well, dude, there's only so many hours in the day. I'm trying.
I got
okay.
you. I got you.
Yeah, see, I'll be honest. There's a lot of you. I'm subscribed to a lot of people that I never watch their videos anymore because I just can't watch everybody.
Sure.
And there's times like Anthony and I have talked about. There's times we have to unplug from vaping.
I think it's healthy to unplug.
So like,
Yeah, I don't know if Jay unplugs. I've never seen him
don't.
really unplug. He just seems to constantly be on.
that's why
I
Anthony
run
and
off
I
of
do
I
our
run the
geek
fuel
out.
when people talk about, and this bothers me a lot. People talk about is the burnout, the burn. Oh, this is a burn. Look, I don't. That does not exist for me. I have a military mindset where I will continually go. There is no burnout. It's not a thing. It's not. Obviously, if laws dictate that I can't get a vape product anymore, then that is kind of the burnout. Like I'm out. But
Yeah, you know who the people that are burned out are the 480,000 people that died last year. Those are the only people I'll allow.
Yeah, those are burnt out. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know, and then if you want to look at it in that perspective, we can't be burned out because we're fighting for the next group.
I'm talking about more along the lines of people saying like reviews were burning them out or pumping out videos every
day.
I don't get burnt out. It's not a thing.
Yeah, that's something that I could say you've never been burned out at all.
Nope.
It's never like you're just doing it just to do it.
Right.
You're always doing it because you want to do it.
So are you searching adhesives now? Because I know that's your next game.
For tape
there.
life?
Yeah.
No. Look, depending on what happens with vaping, it was very grim, and it's still grim now where it's at, but I don't think it's going to be totally mixed out of the market. It's just that if it does, I already have a contingency plan in play already. I just typed the name of the channel in the chat, but yeah, I have contingency plans. If it falls, it falls. I mean, I can't say that I can't sit idly by at the very end and say, this sucks. I wish I would have done something. I did everything that I thought that I could do that would save the grace of vaping.
Well, I'm taking care of something for you, Jake.
And unfortunately, with our shops,
I'm
going to tell you right now. Listen, okay, it's extremely controversial. I'm just telling you, right? You got to put your big boy pants on for these. These are unfiltered and raw.
So how many friends? I'm curious about this channel now because I'm gonna, of course. I want to know how many people that you're friends with on Facebook now, right? That watch this have not slid into your private messages now to have debates with you about it. Like, is it overwhelming now because you've opened up this, can of worms?
Well, I'm going to tell you like this. When the last video that we just put up, it's a lot about exploitation of women.
Yeah.
It's a lot about how men are, how we like to see a perfect body of a woman.
Right.
How we talk about strippers. We haven't talked about race yet, but that's coming. And that's going to be a very, very edgy topic. But there's people that are debating a lot of what we said in it, and whatever. I'm open. I have no problem debating, but it's opinions. It's how we feel. We're just blunt about it. You're going to see a side. I don't know about me, but you're going to see a side of Bree that no one has ever seen before, ever. That's not a joke. Like
everyone thinks that Bree is just super sweet and whatever.
She is super sweet. She is, but she's very opinionated like me. She just never is, and she's always been opinionated. She just never spoke on it. Well, that was her platform to speak.
Right.
And she's out here calling women whores. So those are facts. Like, I'm talking some whoa, like wow, Bree just said that.
Oh.
And it will continually get gradually worse. I mean, we'll be the bottom of the barrel.
Probably when you're recording that, you shut your doors, lock them.
Yep, shut it down. Shut it down, because
you're starting the bar so low as far as calling women whores, but it's going to get continually worse.
It gets worse.
It
gets worse than that.
Punching
gets
babies.
worse.
Like, where's your tier? What's your tier? Punching babies? Like,
No, I think Jay would talk about that.
No, well, yeah, I wouldn't go that far, but as far as when we do the next one where we talk about race, I don't know if that'll be the next one, but the race one will be edgy as shit too.
Yeah.
Like but I'm not gonna. I go against the grain. And people like it. They want to hear the old school Howard Stern, the old school Simon Cowell.
yeah.
You know,
That's
the
exactly what I
one
was
that
thinking
just.
too.
And you know what?
No,
It's actually a really good idea in our snowflake world right now. I think it's great.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
I think it's great because you're
It's a
gonna
touch of reality.
but you're gonna make people think. Like, enough of this.
We say put it like this, Christine. We say things in it that you would if you were to say that to someone's face, they would get extremely offended.
Oh yeah.
Extremely.
Right.
But you need that. You need someone to be blunt, to be honest, to not bite their tongue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there
Same
are
thing
some
with
times in the
vaping.
vaping industry that it feels
Yep.
like some of the civil rights stuff. You know,
Yep.
there are some similarities there,
Yep.
and I don't want to
Yep.
downplay that.
Extremely.
But there were several
Extremely.
times I've looked at things in history going, man, that feels exactly like I feel right now. Like, and like, not to take anything away from that, believe me, not at all. But yeah, there was a lot of similarities in our past. You look at that and go, that was really a law once. And I feel like there were some similar things with vaping. Like,
See,
they
though,
couldn't understand the science. They couldn't see that this has 4 chemicals and this has this many, and this was obviously healthier for you or less harmful, or however you want to say it. So yeah, there are several times I've made that correlation. So I could see how you could definitely go down that road.
see though, speaking of something that you had said, Jay, when it comes to, I laugh when some of these vape models come out and complain about people saying crap to them, or
You
they
need to go watch that video.
or they call
because
people
we address that.
or
I
they
can't
call
do
people sexist, because I'm sorry, anyone who pretty much sells their body for Instagram likes
We talk about this.
No.
That's literally in that video.
is
Like that's literally in
So
that
what are
video.
they
a
doing?
whore. I'm sorry.
You know what? I call myself, back in my 20s and my drinking days, right? When it was Chris didn't just have a beer. Like, I'm totally sober now, but it's like it was blackout. Like, okay, blackout, right? I didn't care what you look like, what your name was, how old you were, whatever, right? I was gonna get with you. Okay, that was and I say that people, my mom goes, don't talk about yourself. I said, Mom, I was a whore. But you know what the problem was? I was doing it wrong because I wasn't getting paid for it. I'm like, I'm an idiot. Like, hello?
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Yeah, I did.
All I have here is my Tesla 220. This is where I hold it.
Stupid. You know? I mean, come on. It is what it is. Like, God.
But see, that's the thing. When it comes to this show, we talk a lot about news, but then toward the end, we always get into these random
And now we're talking about it now,
discussions.
right?
Yeah, I don't think I'd have as many views as I did a review in the bathtub.
Just make sure there's plenty of soap.
Just saying.
I mean, just make sure there's plenty of soap.
Doing
And-
a vape review in a swimming
and then
pool.
get
Like,
Jay on-
come on.
On some of the explicit sites that he's already talked about, it'd be funny doing a review on.
Well, I only watch TV shows that say TVMA on them anyway. So for me, that's like, if it doesn't say that, I don't even want to watch it.
CJ, I do watch. There are things I remember you saying.
Yeah, but I don't hold back though, Robert. I don't hold back in fear of repercussions or
Oh, I know.
how people are going to get upset because they don't like what I said, or like that video with me and Bree is extremely sexist. Like it is. It's extremely sexist. And whatever.
But you can't say Jay doesn't have fun every once in a
Oh,
while,
no.
because that mumble video that he does is
Oh, sure.
one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Let me tell you now, though, the difference is Jay comes out and he can say it's sexist. Ages ago, I was on an all-woman show, and I said I spoke the truth, right? Differences between men and women, and what men are out for, and all this other stuff. And there's certain people that are, they're sexist, and these people who I barely knew, but they are, because if your show is all boobs and whatever, you're sexist, okay? Like, I'm sorry. That's the only thing that you have to bring to your platform is, boobs. Let's talk about boobs and this and everything, okay? Then you're sexist. And I got the most scathing email, and I'm like, I don't even know you, but listen, I'm calling a spade a spade. Like, what do you, I mean, I'm sorry.
Hashtag truth.
Right. I mean, I'm sorry. But at least you're saying, hey, it was sexist. You know what?
But you know what, too, is I'm taking the same approach that I took with vaping for that channel. I'm going to say what I want to say. And, like, if I'm going to do sexist, then I'm going to have Brie in a bikini with her tits out. And we're going to, I'm not even joking. Like, that, I'm going to take it to a level that no one on YouTube will. I will go that far. And I will not break policy. I'll keep policy. I'll work around it. Like, I'll beep some shit out, but I'm gonna be that guy. Like, I've looked on YouTube for the type of platform that we're achieving. No one does it because they're scared of what the repercussions of what people are gonna say. No, fuck that. No.
They're changing harassment policies in the next week too.
Well, you can't. But the thing is, but very easy workaround for it. If she's laughing and she's giggling and she's agreeing with it, it's not really harassment.
I know.
The thing is, it's a different genre too, though, as to a lot of these people, what they don't say certain things because they want their AdSense revenue because they want to stay with their management company, whatever. You guys don't have that. You know what I mean? Like,
none of that.
Who cares? What are they gonna do? Shut the channel down? Okay.
No way. No, the amount of numbers that we're gonna bring in is gonna be so dramatic. No, you're not gonna. Plus, we're not breaking anything. There's no nudity. There's no racism. No. It's just opinions. It's my opinion. It's no different than Louder with Crowder. It's no different. Yeah. Well, it's different in the sense that now I'm including. All right, let me put it to you like this. There was a show in the 50s. I don't know if anybody's gonna know this show. It was something and Gracie or something and Kelly. It was a guy and a girl that did a show. I want to say it was the 50s, but they were very edgy. And it was a talk show. And it went on for 10 years. I can't remember the name of it. And I'm going to bring that to this. And
well, did you see what they did? The whole uproar. It's still an uproar about the Chappelle show on Netflix.
Sticks and stones. Yep.
And I'm like,
but I'm going to talk about that. We're going to talk about transgenders. I am literally going to give my opinion and rip their limbs off. Like, that's just the way that it is. That's my opinion.
I mean, he picks on everybody.
Right. Across the board.
Like, whatever. People, if you can't laugh, turn it off.
You didn't like it, John?
I haven't watched it yet.
I loved it.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
I laughed my ass off. I watched Chappelle before too. And Chappelle left on his terms. He was offered $1 billion, I think, a huge contract, and he said no. He walked away from it.
I watched the first episode live and sat there afterwards, laughing my ass off, and I'm like, that won't come on next week. Like, I really did not think they would let that go on for another week. I really didn't. And I'm glad they did, because it opened a lot of people's eyes and got a lot of people talking.
We'll see how long it lasts, though. I mean, that's what I'm talking about, the snowflake community. You know what I watched the other day? The Jerk. Anybody, you guys watch The Jerk with Steve Martin?
Oh, yeah, I've watched it many times.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All-time movies. If you tried to put that in theaters now, you wouldn't be able to. You wouldn't be able to.
Oh, no. I mean, Blazing Saddles is another one like that.
It won't go on Netflix. It won't go on anything like that. Like, nobody's going to pick that up.
Because we've created we've created as a society what is acceptable to say and what is not.
Yep.
We've created that.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely.
So I'll break that mold. Thank you.
Yep. Well, it was funny. I walked in, I was grocery shopping, and I was going to make homemade pizza. I got everything for it, but I was looking for, they came in little boxes. It was Jiffy. Where all you had to do was add the hot water. You let it sit on the counter for a little bit, and it did the pizza dough. I looked everywhere. Finally asked a manager, and he's like, oh, we don't sell that anymore. You have to go get like the bobbly kind of things. And I'm like, that is so retarded. You sell everything but the dough. Do you know, he said to me, I am really offended by you using the retarded word. My son is slow.
Slow.
I said, dude, do you need your safety blanket, your safety pin in a safe spot? I have one in my backseat of my car. I said, I didn't call your son retarded. I said, it's retarded that you don't have the main ingredient I need to make a damn pizza. It's like, come on.
That's what I was talking about when I was saying the thing with my son, and I made that analogy that I'd like to, bash their heads up against a wall, and DCF was called on me.
And this was
give me a break. I've never
a man.
Children. Like,
I know this is a man my age, and I'm like, I understand. I mean, a friend of mine has a Downs child. I don't. It's not that I'm calling people retarded. It's just really we have to be that careful. I mean, it's stupid.
We cannot live the way we were raised. In my generation, calling something retarded was just normal.
Yeah.
Normal. That's so retarded.
All right, guys, it's almost 2:00, and I
was actually going to say we're going to need.
I'm really sorry, but I have other things I have to do today.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm really sorry.
No, it's almost only 11:15 here.
Thank you very much, Jay, for jumping in, though.
Yeah, Jay, it was
really
good
great.
to hear more about New Jersey.
Right.
Absolutely.
I think you should not go out until they got pistols to your face. That's what I think.
Yeah.
And Anthony, listen, what states are you in, Anthony?
Ohio.
Ohio's trying to pass the flavor ban now too, right?
Yeah, and we have a couple of laws getting ready to hit next month, the T21 and the 10 cent per mil. So we get to join New Jersey with that.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. So you're literally following exactly what we had implemented.
Yeah. So the problem is I can't pre-purchase to have stuff available because I don't know if the flavor ban's going to hit.
Right.
What about, are they hitting you with the floor tax like they did in Jersey for what you have already?
No. So I was gonna have like 6 months worth of inventory ready to go. But if they put a flavor ban in and I have to sell out in 14 days, I don't feel comfortable.
But they're talking about a flavor ban as well, though, right?
Correct.
Like they're talking about that now.
Right. But they won't put that information out right now because if they do that, then I'll stock up.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I'm in this real bad limbo situation.
You're in a situation I'm at where I won't purchase anything. I
and that's where I'm at right now.
I need to figure out what the law is before I put anything on the shelf. Because I'm not
bad have distributors been hitting you up this week?
Well, a lot. But here's the thing too: is as a store, you have to keep in mind a lot of these distributors are not accepting returns. So if you do buy all this stuff and you're like, "Shit, I can't unload this," will you take it back? They're going to tell you, Anthony, no.
Yeah.
No, I know that. And some of the places are offering like this buyback program, and I'm like, well, that's great if you're still in business.
Right.
Like, what's the chances that that's going to be?
And then your state and then that state that's distributing to you gets shut down, and then they can't do shit anyway.
Yeah.
So,
I'm in this crazy limbo situation because I'd already planned on ordering like 6-8 months worth of product. So I didn't have to deal with this tax thing, and then it was like this hit, and I'm like, well, crap. Like, if I wait till the tax, then I have to pay the tax ahead of time.
And how many shops do you have? 5?
6 plus a website.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ow, wow.
It almost was 7. Literally the day of the ban in Michigan, we were getting keys to the new store for Michigan.
All in Ohio?
Yeah, he has 6 in Ohio.
6 in Ohio.
Yeah. Well, guys, we are going to go ahead and get out of here. I do want to remind everybody.
Hold on, let Jay finish because I want to hear what he has to say.
Okay, go ahead.
If listen, my best recommendation from someone that's a multiple business owner as well, and you're in that situation, I don't want to tell you what to buy and what not to buy, Anthony. That's your decision. That's your business.
I watch your channel for advice, though.
But I'm going to tell you, brother, I would not 100% recommend you to buy anything. Now, if Ohio does not pass it, they say we're not doing anything about the flavor, whatever, then I would say stock up.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the federal thing until that, you know what I mean?
Right.
That's 6 months out. Fine. But now, while you can get it now, you know, how long is your lease for?
Well, it depends on the stores.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They
Like,
all
what's the
open at
shortest
different
lease
times.
that you have left?
3 months.
I wouldn't renew that. I'll tell you
Yeah,
this. I wouldn't.
I know. Well, and what I've had to do to keep my people employed is bring CBD in. It's the only chance. That's the only choice I've had.
Here's a
Man,
couple things too,
dude.
real quick. I want to.
Message me on Facebook,
Yeah.
Anthony. Message me on
He's
Facebook.
not on Facebook. He's only on Instagram.
Well, yeah, I'm not on Facebook. I'm on everything else but Facebook. I just absolutely hate Facebook.
Okay.
I'm sorry. It's just a personal
No,
thing.
it's whatever. Are you on Twitter?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram.
Send me a direct message on Twitter.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I do want to say to people, please follow myself, follow Jay, follow Rob, and follow
Anthony, he does a lot.
Yeah, and Anthony, we are all on there really keeping up to date as things are coming through. We are reposting. Follow VAEP. We're getting out every day almost brand new shareables about what's going on, trying to keep people posted to the BS. And I'm going to try to be on here a little bit more as much as possible. It's just by the time I look up from my phone or the keyboard, it's midnight. And I'm like, okay. So.
Yeah. And if I only see 128 people show up at the State House on October 1st, you're going to see a different Anthony next Saturday.
Absolutely.
What was the date of that? October 1st or 10th?
October 1st.
And I'll be putting out calls
Tuesday.
to actions for the different states. So you guys, if you have stuff going on, send it to me. I will make sure on social media it gets shared.
And this is an OHVTA rally. So this isn't something that I put together. This is actually the VTA in my state.
Yeah.
Just give me the information and I'll make sure.
This is for the ban of flavors in Ohio.
Yes.
Or ban for all devices.
Just flavors right now.
And Loomis and Trigger Kitty and all of you guys, thanks for coming. We're trying to get you the best information that we have. I mean, things are changing on a dime. I mean, it really is. So the best way to get a hold of us really is through Twitter, the fastest message system. And we're, as you've seen through the chat, I've been putting us through Facebook as well. So keep it up. You know, I've not seen more vapors finally get involved in forever. So.
And don't forget, guys, like I said, if you want to get notified and are not receiving my notifications, make sure send NVR Network or Vapin Minuteman a request, and we will add you to our notification chat on Facebook, because YouTube is having a tendency of not notifying you. They're not just doing this to us, they're doing it to a lot of different YouTube personalities, and not just vaping. They're doing it to a lot of people throughout YouTube. So,
and I have been contacted by, I forget her last name, but Kat, who is on Fox News. She has a radio show, the Fox network, about vaping. She's a big time vapor, and I think she's on a night show. So I'm going to be on that. And once that goes, I'll let everybody know I'm going to be talking about vaping and stuff like that with her. I think I sent it to you, Jay, that I was going to do that. So yeah, that's going to be coming up soon. So, some of us are really trying to get the word out there. But it's not easy. Contact your reps, guys. That's all we can tell you to, ask you to do. Tell your story. Don't do the blanket letters. It really doesn't work. They need to hear your story.
But we will see everybody next Saturday, or well, hopefully. Are we doing one tomorrow night, Anthony?
Sure. Yeah, we can do that.
Skeletor's not going to be able to make it. I can explain off camera why, but I'm sure you know because you email him back and forth.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I got to run, guys.
Email.
We will see you guys tomorrow night. Let's say 10 o'clock. Does that sound good, Anthony?
That's fine.
Okay, so tomorrow night, 10 o'clock, we're going to do, of course, Geek Out. Who knows the topic? We don't know yet. We'll figure out a topic for tomorrow night's Geek Out. And then Monday, are you going to be able to join me for a DIY, Jen, if I do one?
I'll try.
Okay. So
We'll
Monday,
see how life is.
I'm going to try to do a DIY on Monday. So,
Okay.
want to thank everybody, and we will see you guys next time.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, if you like what you've seen here, there's much more to come. Just click one of the two boxes up here in the corner. And you know what? If you've liked it, make sure to subscribe. Just click the little button right there. Talk to you later, guys.